We are still in a complete mystery regarding the availability on Sunday of Shaquille Leonard. Now, it's kind of weird because it was a lean from Frank Reich today that it's not just going to come down to practicing enough or the next days. I should say this. All the days of practice up until they take off and go down to Houston. It's not just going to be about that. So there was kind of a lean today, I guess, or the feeling with those that were covering the presser with Frank that, yeah, maybe it's going to be a bit of a stretch that Leonard plays coming up on Sunday to start the season. And then it was weird. I don't know within the context of how this went down, but then Frank Reich was asked about, Shaquille Leonard, and he kind of went on about how, well, he doesn't necessarily have to be 100%. He can be 80% and still be a good player going out there. And I can tell you this. For one, if you're trying really hard not to say or have to go back on something you're going to talk about regarding his availability on Sunday, I probably wouldn't have mentioned the 80% to 100% because now everybody's going to believe. I mean, walking out there, I think everybody's going to believe that Shaquille Leonard's 80%. I mean, he was about 80% the entirety of a year ago, and most of that year, people talked about him with the possibility of being a defensive MVP. So I don't know if I would have said that. I don't know if I would have put it in that particular context, but I will stand by what I said. This is twofold here. I'm going to give you an actuality, and I'm going to give you my opinion. The actual is they don't want to run him out there with the fear that he is going to have to go through the season as he went through the season a year ago. It doesn't seem like that's his fear. That's their fear. They don't want him to have to go through the season a year ago with, the consistency of the injuries and the pain and all that. He didn't want that. They don't want that for him. However, I will tell you, I find it really incredibly difficult to believe that if he's out there and he's practicing and that they suggest he can go at 80%, if he's anywhere in the neighborhood, I find it hard to believe that they're going to be able to tell him, hey, you know what, you're not going to play. You can say what you want, but the dude's a gamer. The guy wants to play. The guy wants to play and be successful. He wants to help his team. And to a man that were a part of this team a year ago, I've talked to more than a handful of these guys and had them on during camp. And I didn't ask each and every one this particular question, but every time I did ask, all right, so how long did that feeling of disappointment in the way that the season a year ago ended, how long did that hang with you? And there were a couple that suggested it was still hanging with them. Why? It's because you don't really get that out of you until you start the year and you start playing again. So this is something that not only you're going to have to see, I've always put it in the context of you as the fan. Well, you're going to have to see it to believe it, right? You're going to have to see it to believe it. Give you a great example of that. Pro Football Talk, who historically not often kind with Mike Florio to anything Colts, right? And I don't know if he came up with this, and it doesn't really matter, right? This is just conversation that we have before the start of the season. This is sports talk radio conversation. I mean, hell, that's why they put it out there. But Pro Football Talk put out their expectation for the postseason this year, and they have the Colts going all the way to the AFC title game. And I will say this, again, historically, Mike Florio never has very much to say nice about the Colts or Jim Irsay or anything. So for them to go that direction on this particular prediction, there is a great deal of belief in what they think this team can do. But as for you, you still have that memory of what took place last year, so you're going to have to see what goes down in Week 1 in Houston, hence seeing it to believe it. And this is something that they're going to, as players as we talk to them during training camp, they're going to have to get to the other side. And to get to the other side, you're going to have to play and you're going to have to be successful. So I find it hard to believe that if Shaquille Leonard's even in the ballpark of participation, that he's not going to run out there. And it's funny, I had mentioned this a number of times. I have some folks that have told me stuff about Shaquille Leonard and his availability, and this goes all the way back to the start of camp. And they said, hey, listen, it's not going to be that big of a deal. Just chill out. Don't let it worry you. Let everybody else around have opinions and then flip-flop from opinions. And I kind of took from that as, all right, home opener. I mean, I'm not going to suggest at all that you can get through these first 2 weeks. We've seen way, way, way too much of this team, especially under Frank Reich. We've seen way too much of this team to suggest at Houston and at Jacksonville to start the season is any sort of gimme. So that's just foolish. Foolish talk, and we'll leave that for other foolish people to babble that. But I will tell you, I thought maybe that was, you get back, and you get back in time for the home opener. It just so happens the home opener is against the Chiefs. And there you go. But last week I thought that, and then this week it almost like it felt a little bit different. I think me and some others that pay attention to this team kind of felt a little bit differently about where he was going to end up starting this season. So, yeah, I'm still kind of riding on he's going to practice out the week and give it a go. But I will say, if you listen to anything that Frank Reich had to say earlier today, it legitimately sounded as if it was going to be a long shot. And it's weird because he sounded like it was going to be a long shot, and then at the same time suggested that, well, you know what, he's still really good at 80%. I don't know. That's just the way that it is. We take bits and pieces of this, and we try to put together a puzzle and then hope that you end up being right. But the only actual out of that is they do not want him out there if he is not at his healthiest, with fear of what happened a year ago would happen again, and he would have to play the entirety of the year with these nagging injuries. He was still really good last year with those nagging injuries, but that is effectively the absolute last thing that they want. All right, I believe there's BK in the house today, man. The shop in Broad Ripple and Carmel. Good to see you, brother. I'm ready for an ice cold beer. I don't know about you. Kyle, I don't know this, so I am going to have to bring you on a little bit early here. Tell me, I'm going to go back. One of my favorite films from the 1990s is Apollo 13, right? Gene Kranz was the flight director in Apollo 13. You guys remember? And when Apollo 13 went up and Kevin Bacon was stirring the tanks, they had a reaction. There was an explosion, right? And there was FUBAR. And it's not exactly like what we've been going through the past 2 days, because this is far from being anything like, astronauts and space travel or anything. But we've had a little bit of FUBAR. So as Gene Kranz said back in Apollo 13, what on the ship is good, Kyle, today? What do we got that's good? What do we got that's workable?
The best news is we have the YouTube stream. The lounge is up and running.
Hallelujah. The lounge is up and running. We'll say this, and it's not because he's much more handsome and certainly younger than I am, but the camera is on Kyle in studio, because I still think up here at Apollo 13 we've got a little bit of FUBAR with our laptop. So that's okay. The cam is on you, and you're much better looking and much more handsome than I am, so that is all good. So what else besides us being back inside the lounge via YouTube Live on our ship today is good?
I think we have maybe our most anticipated Colts guest we could have. I think he's coming up today, isn't he?
Rick Venturi. Have you gotten a hold of Rick Venturi and told him that 4 o'clock is a go?
He's good for 4, yep.
It's a go flight. It's a go for Rick Venturi coming up in the 4 o'clock hour. All right, a couple other things. The stream, the app, where are we there? Do we know?
I don't think the app is up quite yet, and I'm not quite sure about the stream.
Okay.
I think the best way, if you want, you have the FM stations and you have the YouTube, the lounge on YouTube Live.
So here's what I want everybody to do. Go ahead, and if you feel that you may be occurring with a little bit of FUBAR going, right? Just go ahead and go either to one of the FMs, 93.5 and 107.5. Mike is here, and he's sitting back over there in the corner and suggests to us, Kyle, that the app is up.
Well, that's
he
good
says
news.
The app is a go flight right there. So that's good. And for those of you asking, Kyle and I, normally when I'm in studio, we get together before the show and we have this conversation down on 5 and kind of air our grievances and talk about what we want to do.
That was a phone call earlier.
Yeah, well, I got a phone call, and I wanted, again, this is personal between Kyle and I, but I do want to tell Kyle this. In the midst of that particular phone call, I was complaining about not having any email. And I try really, really hard not to be a phony hypocrite, because what I do in this particular business is rotten to the core with phony, aholic hypocrites. And I don't want to be that. And I'm never going to be that. So even though this is personal, I will tell you this, Kyle, going back and forth, there is no reason why I should ever be upset about my email not functioning, because I rarely check my email anyway, right? So why am I complaining about my email when I rarely check it anyway? So just because I set a very high bar, a very high standard about how I host this show, that would have been, between you and I, that conversation, that would have been hypocritical. And I don't want to do that. I don't want to be a hypocrite. I don't want to be phony. I don't want to be rotten to the core. I don't want to be an a-hole. So I want to make sure we get that out of the way. No hypocrite. So I probably would not have even checked it. And John Griffin's in the building somewhere right now going, you know what, I've sent you 1,000 emails, and they're probably all still in your inbox right now. And he would absolutely be, wherever my inbox is, and it's out there somewhere. Somewhere out there is my inbox with about 3,500 unread emails in it. Just kind of floating around in the stratosphere, which is all good. Because, again, I would probably not have checked it over the past couple of days anyway. So, Kyle, I wanted to make sure to get that out of the way per our conversation a little bit earlier today. So it sounds like we're pretty much back to normal flight. So that's good. Twin Peaks on the northeast side. This is a precursor to the start of week number 1. I'll give you a great example of it. So we're going to come here. I see Bill is here. I see Alex and Brian from the shop in Broad Ripple and Carmel's here. Mike's back in the corner listening to us on the app. I would tell you this. I would tell you, because Rick Venturi is always so important. He is like the gateway guest to the start of the NFL season for the Colts. Nobody has done more. Nobody has focused more. And I mean, nobody from the past knows more about how to break down a team and a depth chart than what Rick informationally is going to give you coming up in the 4 o'clock hour. So his participation, this interview that I do with him, we do it basically, 3 times a year? Maybe even twice a year. Actually, twice a year. We do it at the beginning of the year, and we do it at the end of the year. So we do it twice a year, and this is really important, and I wanted to make sure, because that's why we moved it back from yesterday. We were having some issues with the transition between one ownership group and the other, and I wanted to make sure that everybody got an opportunity to get all the information from Rick Venturi. If you're going to listen to any Colts interview conversation before the start of the season, this is it. And nothing against anybody else. I mean, everybody else, we're going to have other guests on too, and everybody's all good, but this is it. This is a must Colts fan interview coming up at 4, and that's why we carve out about an hour's worth of time, because there is going to be a lot to go over. So Rick Venturi seems to be flight a go for the 4 o'clock hour. Kevin Bone of the morning show, Kevin and Query. Kev in his weekly 5 o'clock on a Wednesday slot. Coming up a little bit later on, I believe, Kev, they're about to have another baby, right? There's nothing going to happen. We're in a safe zone, right, Kyle? As far as
I think we're
Kev
safe
and the baby?
this week, but next week...
next week is a little problematic?
Next week is the week. I don't know what day he's having the child, but next week I think he's out. So
we obviously have to go back to the she's having my baby re-entry for Kev coming up in the 5 o'clock hour because it would only be incredibly appropriate. So there you go. We seem to be pretty close and back to normal, and this is going to set the stage for the remainder of the week for you with the Colts in mind. So we'll help get you set for that matchup with the Texans in week number 1. As I mentioned, Rick Venturi's coming up in the 4 o'clock hour. Also, have I changed my mind regarding the 10 wins? The 10 wins still seems really right for me. I mean, even seeing PFT, it's kind of weird, right? Because you look at these power rankings, and I admit I'll stare at them a little bit just for not a basis for my opinion, but to see what others that aren't inside it. I kind of want to make sure I don't go into this just incredibly pessimistic in general, right? Well, because we went through the end of the year and you went through the off season and you're skeptical about this and skeptical about that. I'm just kind of curious what other people that don't spend 100% of their time in concentration on what the Colts have done in the off season, what they're thinking about the start of the season with the Colts in mind. And as I mentioned yesterday, I think most of them have it in the neighborhood of 11th or 12th in the power rankings, and I think that's adequate. I do. I think that's adequate. I think this team can win the AFC South with 10 wins. Now, 10 wins is not going to knock your socks off, and I'm not suggesting it will. But I think they can win the AFC South with 10 wins, and the schedule, to me, is going to be a lot tougher than what some people out there would suggest it might be. So 10 wins, at least as I sit here right now, seems to be right. Seems to be pretty accurate. We'll see. I mean, if you're going to go over under, obviously I'd go. If you go under 9 and then, for example, you're in jeopardy of not making the postseason, that's going to be bad on somebody. That's going to be really bad on somebody. Now, again, as we've talked about, we'll see how this goes because it's tough to eyeball and think about how, they get on a path to 10 wins. If they raise the bar and push it to 11 wins, or if it's lowered and they go to 9, part of where we're going is how we end up getting there. So that's tough to end up making or basing an opinion on that right now. But you don't make the postseason and you go single-digit wins, there's no doubt somebody's going to be in trouble. There's going to be some trouble brewing there. This is one of those have-tos. Like I talked about the first 2 weeks of the season for the Colts, and in particular, that first day, Sunday down in Houston, that's a have-to, right? Absolutely a have-to. Getting to the postseason, winning this division to create that path to the postseason it's a have-to. It just is. It is a have-to, and that's not just me. That's exactly how the owner feels about that being a have-to. But a lot of this is dependent upon how they end up getting there. That starts coming up in Houston on Sunday. As I mentioned, this is the first of 5 consecutive sports talk days when we're on the road. So we're at Twin Peaks and Castleton, 82nd and I-69 today. Tomorrow we're up in Fishers at Parks Place Pub. That's our Larceny Bourbon Luna Azul Tequila Locks and Shots with Brent Halverson coming up tomorrow. So we're going to be up in Fishers for that on Friday. It is a Bud Light Blue Friday. We're going to have Chiefs and Colts tickets for you on the south side. That is at the Mucky Duck coming up on Friday. Then on Sunday, I'm going to be out with the Colts pregame huddle. We're going to be live from Bottle Works with Bud Light, and that's going to be the official Colts pregame and watch party right there at Bottle Works. So my man DJ Helicon, Ryan Hickey, is going to stand by later on this week. We'll get him on and talk about how that's going to go down. But the Colts pregame huddle, that's me and former Colts wide receiver Bill Brooks at Bottle Works, and you coming over for the watch party. That's on Sunday. And then we're back with Bud Light again. We're going to be downtown at the Buffalo Wild Wings location. And that is coming up on Monday. And that's going to be the first of a season-long Blue Monday at various Buffalo Wild Wings location around central Indiana for you. And we start downtown off of Washington Street coming up on Monday. So we are locked and loaded, and we are ready for a big season and a big season of the NFL. Apparently, too, we're also good to go. We have a draft coming up later on tonight, our Heaven Hill Distillery winner-take-all bar restock fantasy football league. And I will tell you this, I don't think I need to apologize, but if that's what you need, I don't need you mad about stupid stuff like this, but there was no real way that we were going to be able to handle this yesterday because of what we were going through with that transition, technology-wise. So, Kyle, did we get everybody last night, all the remaining spots off of Twitter, or are we going to throw one or two out there today? What do you think?
We still have 3 remaining spots, so we'll do them via phone and YouTube Live today.
All right, so phone 2, YouTube Live 1. 3 remaining spots. You got to be able to draft at 9 o'clock, or at least you got to be able to half-ass draft. Now, I would advise, I don't want anybody that has to utilize the auto-pick function for what we're doing, but I say that, again, and I'm trying not to be a hypocrite, I could completely screw this up, and it could go to auto-pick before I realize it, and I'd be the one auto-picking. So I hate to call the auto-picker out there out, but I would suggest to you that it would be great if you could be a part of this at 9 o'clock tonight, because if I do remember, or if I'm able to log in or whatever, I would like to talk a little bit of junk back and forth about our picks. So 9 o'clock tonight, it'd be great if you were able to be there and to pick alongside us with our Heaven Hill Distillery winner-take-all bar restock fantasy football league. We have 3 positions remaining. 2 via the phones today at 239-1070 and 1 inside the lounge via YouTube Live, in which Kyle will end up making that selection as well. Also, this reminder, because it starts tomorrow, our Pigskin Pick'em is up and running, and that will net the winner-take-all bar restock as well, courtesy of Heaven Hill Distillery. Pigskin Pick'em, I retweeted that yesterday. I can do that again today to make sure you guys all are in there and have that ample opportunity to win. And let me tell you this, by being out with us what Brent Halverson does, Brent Halverson is big with that. So you guys will love it. Ask Pam Brown. Pam Brown won the Fantasy Football League last year, and I'm sure she's still drinking away on what all she got with that big win. So there's your opportunity, if not inside the Fantasy Football League, with our Pigskin Pick'em. More on the Colts coming up, and the absolute springboard to the start of the year. There is not a season that you should go through to start without hearing the opinions and the information from Rick Venturi, who's coming your way. That is in the 4 o'clock hour today. Kevin Bowen going to join us coming up in the 5 o'clock hour. Northeast Side in Castleton, 82nd and I-69. We're at the Twin Peaks location. Mike is in the corner listening to the app. And we got BK and Alex here. Alex brought me a shirt from the shop in Broad Ripple and Carmel. It is awesome. It's Indiana State. I would show it to you right now if the camera was up. Just act like I am. This is fantastic. Plus, BK and I are going to have a conversation about some JMV Takeover T-shirts you guys have been asking about. And look, you got me extra large. I'm going to try to work my way down to a medium here pretty soon, though. Try to work my way down to that for you. But, yeah, maybe some JMV Takeover T-shirts coming up, too. I'll talk all about that as well. All right, we had some NFL, more NFL news, some college football as well. And anything else you want to hit at 239-1070. Email address is jmv at 1070thefan.com. You can send it. More than likely, I won't see it until the next couple of days. That's good. At JMV 1070 is a fantastic way to get to me right now via Twitter. We can do that, do the phones, but we're up and running. YouTube Live inside the lounge. Join Kyle and everybody inside the lounge right now, or join us for the ice-cold beer at Twin Peaks on a Wednesday. Your official start to the NFL season happens here at Twin Peaks. Back with your calls and more next. 93.5 and 107.5 The Fan.
Dan Dakich lays some knowledge.
I look at this schedule and I continue to see a minimum of 11 wins. I know I'm banking on certain things. I know I am. I'm banking on a statue at quarterback, young wide receivers. If this team is what this team is supposed to be, I see a minimum of 11 wins.
Dan Dakich, weekdays noon to 3 on 93.5 and 107.5. The Fan.
Hi guys, it's Andrew. Are you struggling with erectile dysfunction and sick of the pills? Well, today, Wednesday, September 7th, we're running an unprecedented one-day special you won't want to miss out on. Pine Grove Medical Clinic uses the most powerful form of wave therapy. This is a technology clinically shown to repair blood vessels and improve blood flow. Even Cambridge has studied our technology. If you're ready to transform your love life, grab your phone. Today is your day. Call us now and you'll qualify for the assessment and ultrasound totally free. Also, you'll get a gift that can produce powerful results in the bedroom in minutes. You're going to love that, guys. And today only, we're offering 6 tune-up treatments to our patients free. This is our most lucrative offer ever, worth $1,200. But call today, Wednesday, and qualify totally free. 317-552-1111. That's 317-552-1111. Guys, put a stop to your erectile dysfunction and get your love life back. Call Pine Grove Medical Clinic now to qualify. This offer ends today. 317-552-1111.
Kick off week 1 of the NFL season with FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook. Hey, it's Mark from Kevin and Query. This Sunday, when the Colts kick off against the Texans, get started with $150 in free bets guaranteed when you place your first $5 bet. All you have to do is sign up with promo code MARK to get in on the action. Then you can turn game days into payday all season long. So we know the Colts are heavy favorites against the Texans. Maybe you want to look at that over, under, or the point spread for that $5. But either way, you'll turn it into $150 in free bets, win or lose. You can even combine your bets for a chance at an even bigger payout with a same-game parlay. So don't fumble your chance to get $150 in free bets, win or lose with promo code MARK, M-A-R-C, exclusively on the FanDuel Sportsbook app. Make every moment more with FanDuel, official sportsbook partner of the Indianapolis Colts. 21 and over and present in Indiana. First online real money wager only. $10 first deposit required. Bonus issued is now withdrawable free bets that expire 14 days after receipt. Restrictions apply. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-9-WITH.
America's leading internet provider just got even faster. Switch to Spectrum Internet, and you now get starting speeds of up to 300 megabits per second. Faster speeds for streaming, faster speeds for gaming, faster speeds for working or learning, all with 99.9% network reliability. So no matter what you do online, you can do it better, safer, and now even faster with Spectrum Internet. Visit Spectrum.com for details. Based on internet subscribers among top ISPs, speeds may vary. Restrictions apply.
Sip and save at Circle K with our great new drink subscription. Join Sip and Save today and enjoy one drink a day every day for just $5.99 a month. Enjoy your favorite Circle K ice-cold fountain drink, Froster, or freshly ground coffee every day. That's 30 drinks a month for only $5.99. So sip and save at Circle K. Sign up in-store or at CircleK.com. Circle K. Take it easy.
Hey, it's JMV for CarX Tire and Auto, serving the Indianapolis market for over 40 years. 14 Central Indiana, Joe Childers run locations of CarX. I'm talking absolutely everything for your car, truck, or van. Full service auto repair specialists. We're talking brakes, tires, engine alignments, exhaust, oil changes, all that and more. And how about this for a JMV special? $109.99 lifetime brake pads per axle and save $200 on a set of 4 select Continental tires. Those are the JMV specials. 14 Central Indiana CarX locations to serve you. Car, truck, or van, they have exactly what you're looking for. Full service auto repair all in one place. Tell Joe Childers I sent you. 14 Central Indiana CarX locations. There is one near you. Find out where it is online today. It's CarX.com.
Payless Liquors has this weekend's tailgate covered. 100 milliliter bottles of On the Rocks premixed cocktails are only $2.99. Cutwater 4-packs $9.99. And Franzia 5-liter boxes of wine start at just $14.99. Plus all 26 Payless stores have $17.92 small batch for $29.99. Johnny Walker Black in the 175 is $59.99. And Fireball kegs, yes, I said kegs, are only $69.99 while supplies last. You save big when Charlie says sell it at Payless Payless Liquors. So don't pay more, get more, and pay less at Payless Liquors.
O'Reilly Auto Parts is here to keep your car on the road with our free loaner tool program. Your local store has more than 80 specialty tools available to rent for your next repair. Refundable deposit required. Ask our professional parts people about the loaner tool program today at your local O'Reilly Auto Parts store or visit
O'Reilly Auto Parts. Football is back, and so is your chance to win with BetRivers Sportsbook app. Featuring our new multi-game same-game parlay. Combine the action of multiple same-game parlays in one bet for more action and bigger payouts. Bet the spread, bet the over, bet player props, and more. Throw in daily odds boost plus award-winning customer service, and it's a touchdown. Download it today.
Must be 21 plus. Available in Indiana only. Void where prohibited. Terms and conditions apply. If you or someone you know has a gambling problem and wants help, call 1-800-9-WITH-IT.
What if the next time you painted your home was the last time you painted your home?
Our Rhino Shield has been on for 8 years.
Rhino Shield. Call 888-RHINO-41. Don't paint, don't vinyl. Go Rhino.
Put on your helmet. It's about to get real.
Coach Gus Bradley, give me your assessment of the talent level defensively.
I'm really excited about this group. You hope that you have a veteran presence that's a strong leader. Guys like Grove and Yannick and Buck. You look at the linebacking crew, Shaq and Zaire and Bobby, and then the secondary, Kenny, Julian back there. It's got a good mixture. Not only good people, but play at a high level.
Dan Dockage, weekdays noon to 3 on 93.5 and 107.5. The Fan. The Ride with JMV.
JMV does not suck at all.
93.5 and 107.5. The Fan.
Twin Peaks, our location on a Wednesday, the official beginning of all the hoopla and conversation leading up to week one of the NFL season. In fact, week one gets underway coming up tomorrow night. Good re-entry right there. Did I play that on Saturday night? I've got a pretty good version of it. I think it still talks about something tonsils-wise, but still, yeah, I think people kind of forget that that's what was said back in the mid-'90s. Kyle's back at the station. Again, Twin Peaks is our location today. I want to make sure that you do remember Rick Venturi coming up at the top of the hour. Cannot wait for that conversation. Again, regarding the Colts, thank you very much for that. Regarding the Colts and the start of the season, how this roster looks like, I have the opinion of this roster in a lot of places, not all, but in a lot of places at the top is pretty good. Now, some of those places you hope aren't going to come back and bite them. And you start there with the left tackle, and that is probably where we're going to lead with Rick coming up at the top of the hour, because there is so much inexperience. And you saw what happened even with the experience, but a guy that, because of age and or injury, as far as pass protection was concerned, and Eric Fisher simply did not have it anymore. And honestly, when people always talk about how, well, you know, he was still good at run blocking, hate to say it, we all could be good at run blocking if you're out there next to Quentin Nelson. Right? I mean, you're going to be good at run blocking because he's going to be doing a lot of that road grading for you. He's very good at that. On the other hand, you've got a guy that is protecting your 37-year-old quarterback's blind side that just doesn't have a lot of experience doing that. And you're counting on a lot here. You really are. And from what we gather in the preseason, I mentioned this yesterday too, it's kind of tough to come up with anything that is absolute about the preseason. I mentioned this in terms of the running game or the defense stopping the run yesterday. Like, I don't know how deeply you can become embedded in the, hey, this is a big issue, because you just didn't see, the ones out there enough. But when you did see them out there, they got carved up. I mean, really, the run defense throughout the preseason got pretty carved up, whether it was the ones or the twos or the whatevers. So that's one place that is going to be worthy of watching as we start this season, because it shouldn't happen that way. Because that category of this team being up front with that front defensively should be to me, this is just me, it should be its best quality. In fact, that's what I've been banking on about holding this team accountable for having a defense that's top 10. And before you laugh and you go, oh, wait a minute. Seriously, when I talk to these defensive players, that's exactly what they believe. Yannick Ngakoue, when I mentioned top 5 defensive line in the NFL, he goes, oh, wait a minute. How about top 3? So they're holding themselves to that standard, so why shouldn't we? And I think rightly so. But for that to actually come to fruition, that defensive front has to be legit, and we are going to have to see some things, much like we were talking about with Matthew Pryor, we're going to have to see some things that we haven't seen yet. For example, Kwity Paye becoming more consistent. Where's Kwity Paye going into season number 2? I think a lot of people, just by virtue of watching, and fair or unfair, right? We have a lot of opinions that certainly are unfair about the preseason. And then on the other hand, when you have an opinion about how you saw Grover Stewart play in that final preseason game when he was out there against Tampa Bay, you're feeling really good about where his game is going to be elevated to. And then you can also add in the reminder that Tampa Bay's interior offensive line was incredibly dinged up. So it's tough to make that judgment. It really is. But these are some areas that are worth watching. Left tackle always is. But in terms of just how good, top 10-wise, if that's your expectation, how good this defense can be this year, it has to start with what they have up front. It has to begin with Buckner and Stewart, and you get edge pressure for the first time consistently in forever from Ngakoue. And then you have to see some guys that are stepping up, like Kwity Paye. I really don't know at all what to expect from Adingbo. And that's something else I'm going to ask Rick about, because Rick was out there every day, logging hours and certainly watching a lot of what was going on the defensive side of the football. And as he's known as the Hurricane, I don't know through training camp if he was much of a Hurricane. I will tell you this. I think Rick is a lot higher on the pass catchers in this particular group than certainly we have been, or most of us has been. He's a lot higher on this group outside of Michael Pittman Jr., which is an absolute to be able to step up and get something done. And to be able to be like Michael Pittman Jr., I think is going to be really good, but just think how much better he can be if they find a legitimate, consistent threat. You know, whether that's a rookie or whether that's just a healthy and consistent Paris Campbell. Hey, I'm not going to sit here and tell you that that's what I expect, but if that were to happen, that elevates this offense even higher than what you're thinking about it could be right now. Because let's face it, you're thinking about Michael Pittman Jr. right now with, 100 catches and, well over 1,000 yards receiving. That is going to be incredibly difficult if he does not get help, if they don't find solutions outside of him to be a threat through the air with Matt Ryan. People ask me all the time, do you think Michael Pittman Jr. is a number 1? I think he can be a number 1, but to be a number 1, you need some threats out there so guys just aren't double-teaming and draped all over him the entire time. I want to see him be able to go out and beat the other team's best guy in the secondary. Teams are going to make them prove that. But Rick is certainly a lot more high on the pass-catching group than we have been over this offseason. That's something else we'll get to coming up here with Rick at the top of the hour. But going into practice, I brought up Shaquille Leonard and his possible availability coming up on Sunday. It's weird. I think yesterday everybody was feeling really good about it, and then Frank Reich was talking today and had suggested that he was back at practice, but it's not all going to be about him hitting every single mark in practice leading up to Sunday. He said he wants him at his best, and as I told you, he mentioned that he is really good and can play at 80%, but they don't want him to play at 80%. They want him to be as close to 100 as possible. Now, the problem that you have, when you already have it out there that he can play at 80%, he's really good at 80%, and we saw what he did at 80%, or at least in that neighborhood a year ago, it's hard to suggest that you don't put him out there in that week one, but maybe you do. Maybe you wait for week 2 on the road in Jacksonville and then unleash him there, but they want him to be as close to as completely healthy as possible, and that's where all this rides and has been to this point. They just don't want a replay of what he had to go through a year ago. They don't want him going back out there and re-aggravating a situation that is going to dog him the entire season as it did last year. So that's the thought process going into whether or not Shaquille Leonard is going to be able to go coming up on Sunday. It's funny, 2 weeks ago I said, there's no chance. It's going to be week number 3, and then as you got to the end of last week, you're thinking, man, there is a really good chance. It was like a literal 180 in thought process. And then today, with the words of Frank, you're kind of back to, well, maybe they are going to hold out for week 2. Maybe they are going to hold out for that home opener. We shall see. We'll talk to Rick Venturi coming up at the top of the hour. Again, it is the interview that you have to hear before the start of the Colts season. Rick's going to join us at 4. Kevin Bowen is coming at you in the 5 o'clock hour as well. Twin Peaks, we're on the northeast side. We are in Castleton, and from what I hear, all systems are to as close to as go back at the station as they have been. And I do want to make sure, because we all know this, we knew this was going to happen, and I would not have the foggiest idea about how to handle the change in servers and all this stuff. And I wanted to give a shout-out to all of our engineers who I know have been working their ass off to try to get us back on track. And that can create some anger. I've seen what you've had to say in comments on Facebook about, hey, aren't you ready? This is a difficult process, and I'm telling you, our guys from Devin here to Skyler to Ken to Cam, they are as good as you're going to find in doing that. And I know they've been working OT at trying to get us back on track. Really all of our stations in the building, but certainly the 2 talkers that utilize a lot of this technology more than the music stations. And I want to thank those guys for that. They know how much they mean to me on a daily basis, and we can do nothing without them. So they are consistently working to get us 100% back on track. We are within the Shaquille Leonard 80% range, I think, right here. It's a couple of more things, and we're back to business as usual. Twin Peaks, northeast side, Castleton. Look for you here. I'm going to enjoy this ice-cold beer that Daryl ordered for me right here. Thank you, my brother. Appreciate that. Hold on. It's as advertised. Ice-cold right there. Quick break, and we shall come back. YouTube Live Inside the Lounge is open, Billy. It is open right now. You guys get in there, participate. And again, we're going to get somebody in our fantasy football league out of the lounge today, and 2 from the phones. I'll tell you when and where coming up. 93.5 and 107.5, The Fan.
Put on your helmet. It's about to get real.
All right, Chappie, here it is. We're on our 110th quarterback. We don't have a homegrown guy at left tackle. And coming off the catastrophe in Jacksonville, can this team win something this year?
Yeah, I think they can win the AFC South. The moves they've done tells everyone that they think that they should win the AFC South. And if not, the owner's going to be upset.
Dan Dockage, weekdays noon to 3 on 93.5 and 107.5. The Fan.
Hey, it's John here for Connecticut. They're not too far away with their northeast side Castleton location where we are right now. It's wafting. I can smell the great deals going on with Connecticut right now. I smell the great deals on the Premier Series water softener, the K5 in-home drinking water station. I can smell the deals. But you can't smell the water. You want to know why? Because when you have Connecticut, you have the best. There is no awkward smell. There is no inadequate taste. There is no nothing other than the best water possible. With Joe and John, my friends at Connecticut, great deals on the K5, great deals on the Premier Series water softener right here and right now with my friends from Connecticut. And less than a mile away up here in Castleton is the northeast side location, Southside US 31 and Southport Road. You got the Connecticut Water app. Download that to your smartphone or device today. Bags of salt and accessories and more. You get great deals on that via the app or online, ConnecticutIndy.com.
Listen to Dan Dockich this week for tickets to the Hoosier Hardwood Festival. Dan will broadcast live on September 9th at the Boone County Fairgrounds.
Hubler has it, savings. Hubler has it, choices.
Hubler really does have it all. All of our pre-owned vehicles are Hubler Q certified, which include a 128-point vehicle inspection, a free Carfax vehicle history report, and 2 warranties. A 2-year, 100,000-mile powertrain warranty, and a 30-day, 1,000-mile comprehensive warranty. Visit any of our 13 locations today, or click drivehubler.com.
Hubler has it all.
Hello, I'm Joe Cordell of the domestic litigation firm Cordell & Cordell. Here are a few quick divorce tips that we provide our clients. Number 1, don't move out of your house just because your wife tells you to. Remember, that's your house too. And number 2, don't blow through the financial statements that you file with the court. These are key exhibits, and they often make or break your case. And number 3, watch the social networking. Expect your wife's lawyer to do a thorough online search. And incidentally, this is a two-way street. Now, a bonus tip. Partner with your attorney in assembling evidence. You're one of the 2 leading experts on your life and marriage. Your attorney needs your input to achieve your goals. And finally, talk to your attorney before taking action. Good luck.
Contact the domestic litigation firm of Cordell & Cordell to schedule an appointment with one of our firm's Indianapolis area attorneys, a partner men can count on. Online at CordellCordell.com. That's CordellCordell.com. Cordell & Cordell, 101 West Ohio Street, Suite 1100, Indianapolis, Indiana, 46204.
John from BullseyeEventGroup.com, the Colts VIP tailgate. You do have to hold off for a couple of weeks because the Colts aren't back at home for the start of the season until week 3. They welcome in the Chiefs. That's when the party starts. The all-you-can-eat, all-you-can-drink, the DJ Skids Entertainment, the Colts VIP tailgate, presented by Hayes & Sons Restoration at the Bullseye Event Center. That's before every Colts home game, so make sure you're a part of it and get your passes right now and couple that up. If you don't have tickets to the game, couple that up because they got tickets to that Colts-Chiefs game for you. And this reminder, my plan is we're all going to Vegas. And we're all going to Vegas with BullseyeEventGroup.com. That's coming up in November when the Colts take on the Raiders. If you want to be on our flight, and if you want to be a part of the Colts VIP tailgate in Vegas and have a blast, I would log on right now and make sure you book your seats. We're going to be at Caesars. It is going to be an absolute blast coming up in Vegas in November. So, Colts VIP tailgate presented by Hayes & Sons Restoration before week 3 starts, and that home opener is there for that Colts VIP tailgate. And if you want to go ahead and book that package to go to Vegas with us coming up in November, BullseyeEventGroup.com right now.
Bowling, 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 keep them balls a-rolling. Bowling, 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 Royal Pin.
Make your plans now for a fun holiday party at any Royal Pin Entertainment Center. Treat your employees to a great time with bowling, appetizers from chips to heavy hors d'oeuvres, food packages from pizza to prime rib, and a wide range of party options from just bowling to laser tag, limitless VR, go-karts, arcade, and more. You can upgrade with adult beverages, craft beer, premium spirits, and frozen drinks. Want a custom party? Their sales team can make it happen. Reward your team for their hard work. Email events@royalpin.com or visit royalpin.com to book today.
Set them up, knock them down, send them flying, spinning round.
Hurry, space is filling up fast. That's royalpin.com.
Royal Pin, bowling, bowling. Royal Pin, bowling.
Jake Query here. The world-famous Figure 8 takes center stage this weekend at the Tom Wood Group Indianapolis Speedrome, powered by Lincoln Tech. Thursday through Saturday, it's the 46th Annual World Figure 8 Championship 3-hour endurance race weekend. Racing and practice both Thursday and Friday night, leading to the spectacle, excitement, and wildness of 3 hours of Figure 8 racing mayhem on Saturday. Over 40 cars and drivers will battle to become a Figure 8 racing legend Saturday night. Ticket prices, location, and more at speedrome.com.
Hey, it's JMV. Join me and my friend Brent Halverson every Thursday for our Larceny Bourbon Locks and our Luna Azul Tequila shots. We're going to give you all you need to know about the week in the NFL and also give you the fantasy football shot of the week as well. It is awesome, and you could also win by playing along with us. Larceny Bourbon Locks, Luna Azul Tequila Shots, me, Brent Halverson, every Thursday, right here. Brought to you by Heaven Hill Distillery.
Here's what's happening with the Fan.
Live from Parks Place Pub, Thursday, 3 to 6 p.m., join JMV broadcasting live for Larceny Locks and Luna Azul Shots. Listen to Larceny Lock and enjoy Luna Azul Shots. Follow the Fan on all your favorite social media platforms and stay up to date on all things sports. Find us on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube. And catch Dan Dockage from noon to 3 for a chance to win 4 tickets to the Hoosier Hardwood Festival September 9th through the 11th in Boone County.
For more info, click on 1075thefan.com.
The Mower Shop in Fishers proudly offers Spartan mowers from compact to commercial, 42 to 72-inch size decks with power up to 38.5 horses. TheMowerShop.com, 317-849-9500.
Giants, Cubs, Sunday Night Baseball. The coverage begins at 7 on 93.5 and 107.5 The Fan.
The Ride with JMV.
I am in the parking lot right now, hammering a bacon, egg, and cheese, hold the cheese, in preparation to go deep with 4 hits and put on a laser show to the likes of which you have never witnessed in your entire life.
93.5 and 107.5 The Fan.
All right, Chief. Inside the Lounge via YouTube Live. I'm in there with you now. You can't see my face. Your guys are missing out on the chiseled, handsome features today, but you do see Kyle back at the studio. We're at Twin Peaks in Castleton. Brady says, hey, JMV, keep an eye on Daryl up there. I got an eye on Daryl right now, baby. Daryl's right there. Join us here, the ice-cold beer. In fact, it's so cold that a little cold drip of water dripped down and right there in the crotch. Right there. A little shocking right there. Fellas, Brian and Alex, the shop in Broad Ripple and Carmel.
How's it going?
How we doing?
We're good.
Got a new Indiana State shirt for me there, Alex?
Yeah, football shirt.
I love that football shirt right there.
They're going to beat Purdue this weekend.
I haven't seen, what's the spread?
I have not seen a spread yet.
Huh? Yeah, ISU and Purdue.
I don't think there's a line on it yet.
Is there not a line on it yet?
So we'll see. Yeah, that's a get-right game for Purdue.
All right, anything new as far as product-wise, fellas?
Oh, released a bunch of college stuff in the last few weeks.
You guys are all in with most of the colleges around here.
Yeah,
right?
yeah. Except Notre Dame. We're trying to get them.
Oh, yeah? What have they said to you so far? Are they apprehensive about messing around with you yahoos?
Just basically no. They said 10 Hail Marys and 2 Our Fathers.
They basically said no.
Yeah, just no. We'll try them again this year. We'll get them.
There was not much more dialogue other than a big N-O. That was
Dear
it.
sir, no. That was it.
All right. How hard is it to get in? There's no way. Is it to get behind the shield of the NFL? Is that just impossible?
Yeah, I mean, it's expensive.
Yeah.
So I think the minimum annual guarantee for NFL licensees is like $1 million a year.
Oh, you got that. Come on, man. Dude, you went to Purdue?
Yeah,
That's all you guys make $1 million a year going to Purdue?
Yeah. It's parked on the roof.
You went to Purdue?
Yeah.
You went to Purdue, and BK loves Ohio State.
Yeah.
Did you go to Ohio State?
I didn't. My family's from Ohio.
Where did you go?
ISU.
Indiana State?
Yeah, for
all right,
2 years.
I know
For
you
2
don't
years.
make any money.
Just like
then.
you, yeah.
I went to Indiana State too.
It's a club.
We're in a very
Yeah.
not even a select club.
Yeah.
It's all good. Indiana State, baby. Anyway, I wanted to talk with you guys about the JMV Takeover stuff. Because if they're listening down in digital right now, what do they need from us? What do you guys need from us to create that? Because a lot of people
is that
like
the graphic you want to use with the face with the lightning
I think
bolt?
so.
And all
Though.
that?
Yeah, the face
let's
and the
do
lightning
that.
bolt.
Just send us the graphic as big as a graphic you can so we can recreate it. And let's do it. Let's figure out Photoshop or Illustrator file.
Looks good.
Yeah.
You don't like my idea of like putting? I wanted to put like places where the show is going to be. Here, or like on the back.
Yeah.
Is that? Because I'm a front and back T-shirt guy.
Yeah, we can do that.
I want a front and back.
Yeah.
You guys have front and back T-shirts?
Some, yeah.
A couple, yeah.
Okay.
We've done that stuff before.
It's like a concert T-shirt. I like the front and back.
Yeah.
And I love your T-shirts because after one wash, it doesn't shrink up to fit a Ken doll, which is pretty sweet.
We can do like a charity angle on it, or what?
Oh, absolutely. I think a charity angle would be fantastic.
Yeah.
Maybe something for Teacher's Treasures?
Yeah.
Something
Let's
like
do
that?
it. Yeah.
Let's do that,
That's a golf
fellas.
outing.
Well, that's a good question. And I think we have to. I've heard until I think I broke my foot last week. We were going to do some kind of 3-on-3 from what I'd heard. I'm trying to recover from that right now.
3-on-3 tournament?
Yeah, because I'm going to get a couple of dudes and I'm going to whip everybody's ass.
Is it JMV Gus Macker?
Yes, exactly.
The Fat
Exactly
Jack
like
Macker
that.
and JMV Macker tournament?
But I haven't. I'll be honest with you. The whole transition going on right now has been a little hectic. So I think there's a lot of oars in the water, so to speak, right now. So those are probably things that will be figured out here in the next week or so. But I was the 3-on-3. I'm going to get a couple of my guys and go whip a little ass right there. So that's what we're thinking.
That'd be actually pretty badass.
It'd be good. Now I don't want to be like the beginning of Gus Macker to be great when Gus Macker turned to crap. Yeah, not so much. Like the beginning, the early stages of Gus Macker was great, if you remember. And then it just kind of
just make the rules like you got to be 38 or over or something.
Yeah,
like there's gonna be a lot of MCLs being torn and
how about minimum team weight?
Yeah. Minimum team weight,
total weight of the team.
You just don't want some dude
above
posting you up and.
So you don't want an average weight of like 187.
Yeah.
6'5".
I'm gonna sit out there and stroke threes because three's better than two, fellas. Mm-hmm. Three's better than two.
Less running too.
And then I'm gonna get two other dudes. One's gonna rebound a ton, get me some offensive glass and kick out so I can step into one, and then somebody else is gonna do the bulk of the scoring. So that's what I need. That's my perfect three combination is me shooting, wide open looks, somebody rebounding on the offensive glass, and then somebody scoring at will.
We've got licensing
combination
with Larry Bird and Rick Smith, so we can just.
Do you really?
We can join. We can get a team
Larry
together.
Bird just lay on the floor on the side.
Yeah, with his back.
Yeah,
it'd be great.
Face down.
Give me the hours of the shop in Broad Ripple and Carmel, fellas.
Gosh, I don't know anymore. I don't go there.
Broad Ripple's under construction, but we are still open.
Okay.
So sidewalks are open. You can get there easily. 918 Broad Ripple Avenue. Our Carmel store is now at Rangeline Road at Sydney Center, and then online always, shopany.com.
All right, fellas, JMV Takeover coming at you. Some image work so you guys can put the wheels in motion. Maybe I'll think about some stuff on the back, too.
Shoot it over to us.
Awesome. Brian and Alex, shop in Broad Ripple and Carmel, fellas. Thank you very much.
Go Boilers.
Enjoy that ice-cold beer, and enjoy this on the other side. We're live at Twin Peaks. This is going to officially start your week number 1 of the NFL season. Rick Venturi, locked and loaded for an hour-long conversation coming up on the other side, or however long that we need with Rick. If you have any questions, lob them in at JMV 1070, or you can hit me up via the lounge on YouTube Live as well, and I will ask Rick that. But we're good to go. Rick Venturi, all you need to know about the Colts in 2022 with Rick next.
School is in session.
Ashton Doolin, there is a difference in how guys like guys to run routes, right? Can you explain that to me?
Some guys may like to see, stops versus comebacks, or maybe a slant versus an under route or something like that. Just depends on the timing and what they're comfortable with throwing.
What's your favorite route?
I like the go ball, baby.
I wouldn't knew that was.
I like the go ball.
I figured it wasn't going to be, 5 yards across the middle.
Dan Dockage, weekdays noon to 3 on 93.5 and 107.5. The Fan.
Hey, John, for Andy Moore Buick GMC, 131st State Road 37. Just up the road in Fishers, you got to talk to my friend Eric Wilson if you are in need or in want of a new set of wheels like the GMC Acadia, which I can tell you I absolutely love. My wife absolutely loves. We all absolutely love it because me and the fam can get in there, and then if we got to haul some girls basketball, 12-year-olds around, we can do that too. It's a great thing. They got the inventory for you right now. That's the first hurdle, right? A lot of places don't. Indiana's best, they do. The inventory, the car buying experience, the service after the sale, absolutely unmatched. Oh, by the way, the price tag you're going to thoroughly enjoy as well. One-stop shopping, it's hassle-free with my friend Eric Wilson. Ask for him today. Andy Moore Buick GMC, 131st State Road 37 in Fishers.
Discover downtown Indy with Indiana Sports Corp's annual Indy Ultimate, Saturday, September 10th, starting and finishing at Monument Circle. Experience the best of downtown's venues and landmarks with this 5-mile run-walk. This year's brand new route includes Carroll Stadium, the state capitol, and favorites like Lucas Oil Stadium and Victory Field. The Jim Irsay collection will be up in Lucas Oil Stadium with items used by some of the greatest artists in music history. Run with a friend or bring a group. Participants get an Adidas shirt, medal, and Indy 11 voucher to a future match. Register now at IndyUltimate.com.
Football is back, and so is your chance to win with BetRivers Sportsbook app. Featuring our new multi-game same-game parlay. Combine the action of multiple same-game parlays in one bet for more action and bigger payouts. Bet the spread, bet the over, bet player props, and more. Throw in daily odds boost plus award-winning customer service, and it's a touchdown. Download it today.
Must be 21 plus. Available in Indiana only. Void where prohibited. Terms and conditions apply. If you or someone you know has a gambling problem and wants help, call 1-800-9-WITH-IT.
Hey, everybody, we've all heard stories from friends and family about something really bad that happened. You're in an accident, there's a painful, life-altering injury, huge medical bills, even wrongful death, all from someone else's fault. Some of you are dealing with it right now. That's where the attorneys at Parr Ritchie Law Firm can help. Tony Patterson, Paul Cruz, and John McLaughlin lead a team with over 70 years of collective courtroom experience and millions of dollars in jury awards and settlements for their clients. None of us can change the past. Just know that Tony, Paul, and John are on your side to help you and your family going forward. They're recognized by Super Lawyers and U.S. News and World Report as being among the leading injury lawyers in Indiana. Even if you're unsure you have a case, give Parr Ritchie a call. They'll listen and give you their free experience legal opinion. Call 317-269-2509 or visit ParRinjury.com. That's P-A-R-R Injury.com.
Making your money go further is more important than ever. So Diamonds Direct's bringing back our most popular offer of the year. 5 years, zero interest financing on any purchase. Now for a limited time, you get the amazing value Diamonds Direct is known for, and you can spread your payments over 5 years. Zero down, zero interest. A $6,000 diamond ring is just $100 a month. Don't miss this extraordinary offer going on now. 5 years, zero interest financing on anything and everything at Diamonds Direct. Your love, our passion. Details at diamondsdirect.com on approved credit.
Exmark makes the mowers that care for the lawns, that set the stage for the backyard life. As the commercial mowers more landscape pros trust, Exmark mowers get you on and off the lawn without compromising cut quality, comfort, or reliability. Exmark, official mowers of the backyard life. Check out end-of-season pricing on Exmark mowers and stand-on aerator rentals right now at Midstate Truck Equipment on Allisonville Road in Fishers. Midstate Truck Equipment, 800-540-4479.
John here for Love Heating and Air with John and Chris Love, making sure that your system, your cooling unit's good to go for the remainder of the summer and then into the fall. It's been a tough summer. 90s, humidity. Let's make sure that your system is good to go for the latter portions of this summer into the fall. Then, of course, right around the corner, I hate to say it, winter will be on the way. Let's make sure the system is doing what it should with John and Chris Love and the absolute best at Love Heating and Air. Online, love-hvac.com today.
Circle K is America's thirst stop. And yours, especially when the weather gets... and you need to stay refreshed on the go with ice-cold Circle K favorites like freshly ground iced coffee, Froster, Polar Pop Cup, and more. Think of it as the ultimate thirst-quenching, totally rehydrating summer splash zone. When life's go, 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 make us your first stop. Because Circle K is America's thirst stop.
Sundown Gardens has fresh fall annuals, including mums arriving weekly. Save the date for the fall open house, September 17th, 186th Street and Spring Mill Road, sundownGardens.com.
93.5 and 107.5, The Fan.
WIBC HD2, W298BB, WIBC HD3, W228CX, Indianapolis. The Colts open the regular season in Houston as they take on the Texans. Coverage Sunday morning at 10 on 93.5 and 107.5 The Fan.
The Ride with JMV.
1, is this or is this not the XFL? Yes, it is. 2, do I or do I not currently have a pulse? Yes, I do. Let's play football.
93.5 and 107.5 The Fan.
This show is live, 82nd and I-69. We're at Twin Peaks. This is the unofficial gathering for the start of week 1 of the NFL. We've got a hearty group here with us right now. Shout out to Evan McDowell. Evan McDowell came here. I hadn't seen him in like a year, and the first thing I did was pull off my shoe and show him my foot. Hey, look what I did. Don't you love that? But nah, join us here for the ice cold beer. We are ready to go with the Colts conversation. Before we get to Rick Venturi, number 9, 239-1070 right now. You are going to get in our fantasy football league, the winner take all bar restock, courtesy of Brent Holverson and Heaven Hill Distillery. Number 9 is going to have a spot. We draft at 9. You got to be able to have your ass at 9. I don't want anybody using the computer. I've had to deal with Whopper enough the past 2 days. I want Whopper from War Games selecting your team, all right? If anybody's going to have Whopper selecting their team, it's going to be me because I forget. So I want you to be available at 9. Caller 9 with availability at 9. You are in our league. Kyle will get the winner. Meantime, without further ado, on the Andy Moore Automotive Group hotline, I am proud to have him back. This officially means football season is back. Rick Venturi joins us from the Colts Radio Network. Hello, Rick.
What's up, good friend, man? You are exactly right. You know, this extra week to get ready is fun in some ways, but it's just I feel butterflies, to tell you the truth, because as I told Matt Taylor today, I will never be able to exercise those coaching demons that are deep inside of my soul. And when you get ready for that opener, you know, if I had to liken an opener to holidays, it would be part Christmas, you know, because you're going to open up all your toys. There's great anticipation, all your new packages. But on the other hand, because it's so unknown and you don't know what to expect, it can be a horror show, which we've seen for a long time. And in that sense, it can be Halloween. So, you know, big holiday coming up for me, but I really can't wait to get down to Houston and see this thing get started.
So Rick Venturi, the radio network, of course, he, Matt Taylor, Lara Overton will have you coming up on Sunday with the radio call down in Houston. We got the Colts pregame huddle. We'll be set up and hanging out at Bottle Works on Sunday morning for the Colts official watch party beginning at 10 a.m. All right, you and I kind of came – we talked yesterday, and then because we thought you were coming on, and then I wanted to make sure we gave you – the largest audience possible. I wanted to make sure all of our avenues were wide open and not under construction, so that's why I moved you until today. I want to start with the left tackle because I think if you're going to get down to a position that probably troubles most Colts fans because of the lack of experience that Matthew Pryor brings to the table, that would be it. What have you gained knowledge-wise from watching camp and then in games and watching Pryor play left tackle?
No, John, you're exactly right. I like this team, and I'm going to get into this specific question. I like this team for several reasons. I don't think that this team has, as you look at it on paper, as I look at it at Grant Park, I don't think this team on either side of the ledger, offense or defense, has what I call a lot of liabilities, very few liabilities. We may not be great at every spot, but there's not a lot of liabilities. Now, the two positions, to me, that have to be addressed, whether it's schematically or however it happens, is going to be left tackle on offense, and it's going to be third corner on defense, which we'll get into later. First of all, Matt Pryor has had a very, very solid training camp. And in terms of run blocking with that offensive line, in terms of run blocking, I don't worry about anything. As a matter of fact, I think with him and Quentin Nelson there on the left side, I think you have basically a road grading left side. I mean, Pryor is a big man who can move the pile in terms of run blocking. My biggest concerns on offense are, protection of Matt Ryan. Matt Ryan is not a statue, but he's not going to do a lot of avoiding of rush. So pass protection has to be flawless, and our blitz pickup has to be flawless. So my biggest concern with Pryor would be in situations where we face a defensive end who's really a premier guy who has speed and great counter ability. I think if Pryor has a problem, it's just overall athleticism. If he has to get caught one way and has to make the recovery, I think that is his biggest issue. It's not power. He can handle power. He can handle the power guy. He can stiff you. The athleticism to me is the only thing that I worry about. So if he's there and you have that guy now, almost everybody has good edge rushers. Greenard is good this week. Jerry Hughes is good. Jacksonville is loaded a week from now with edge rushers. So you're very seldom going to get a free pass. But I think you have to think schematically. If we get that guy that we're worried about, then we've got to help him, by you use the tight end left more than right. You do some backfield chipping. There's a lot of different ways to help the one guy. Now, there may be games that you have to help Pinter if you get an elite 3 like a Buckner or somebody like that who I'm not sure he can handle by himself. But when you're asking me specifically about Pryor, that's my evaluation. Now, Ryman is really our one backup who I would be ready to play with. I think he's very, very close. He's on the way. He is a better space athlete than Pryor. He is going to eventually be that guy, very much like Costanzo, maybe even better athlete down the road, who can get out on space and block a guy in space. Now, his problem right now is he doesn't have that great football background, so he's got some stuff to learn. He also is not the biggest guy. I think someday he'll be 330, but he's more around 305. So speed to power hurts him. They're kind of the opposite guys. But, really we're about one deep there, and that's about it. And that means that early in the season, the versatile guys are going to have to be Pryor, Pinter. If something happens to Kelly, Pinter's got to move in. You probably would move Pryor to right guard or right tackle. Braden Smith moves into guard, and Ryman goes in the game. You don't want to go past 6 at this point, although, I think Strasser's done a good job with Fries. But I don't think he's ready. I don't think he's ready to win NFL games, but if you had to play him at guard, you'll try to survive there. Now, we did get Dennis Kelly back. We didn't have a chance to watch him. He has been a decent swing guy in the league. So, that's another guy that'll be part of the mix. But, Pryor, I think, again, will be very good run blocker. I think we can run to our left exceptionally well. And I just worry about him at times, and we know that going in. So when you know that going in, it's about assets and liabilities, and when you have a liability in a game, it's incumbent on the coaching staff to make the proper adjustments to get that done. There's nobody that puts 22 all-pros out there. Let's face it, everybody has a liability. I don't think we have a ton, but obviously that could be one of them in certain situations.
So Rick Venturi from the radio network. It's the conversation you have to hear before the start of every Colts season with us via the Andy Moore Automotive Group hotline. Rest of the offensive line, because needless to say, whether you want to look into injury or trying to navigate COVID protocol situations of a year ago, this whole line did not have a good season. How did it look to you in training camp compared to the expectations, which are lofty for this group this year, Rick?
Yeah, I thought it looked a little bit better, particularly in the passing game. I agree with you. This was not, last season, 221, was not a really good look for them. It wasn't just the offensive line. I felt we didn't do a good job in blitz pickup, and that's just mandated. It just has to be this year, because with Ryan, because people know that he's not a running quarterback, he's not a guy that's going to get to the edge. So you're going to attract a lot more rushes, you're going to attract a lot more blitzes, and you have to be flawless. Now, in the preseason game, the one that we really played, the one that was significant when we played ones against ones for a quarter against Tampa, they basically got a sack on a blitz. It really was on Fries. He didn't, it was kind of a delay blitz, and he was late picking the linebacker up coming through there. And then they hit us off the corner. They didn't get a sack, but they forced the quarterback to throw quickly. So, those are the things that really have to clean up. Again, I think this is a team that can run the ball with the offensive line. I'm a little concerned, John. I'm not concerned on the overall play of our tight ends. I mean, I think between the three of them, you can come up with a game plan to complement it. I think they can, particularly Allie Cox and Woods. I think they can block on the edge pretty well. I'm okay with that. What we don't have right now, what we lack, and what Doyle brought to us, is the inline blocking, the what we call the wham plays, where you come in and you block the nose, or you come across the line and you cut off a defensive end in a misdirection run. I'm not sure that we are very capable there. And it's, when you have those big 6'7" guys, it's hard for them. I mean, it's good in the seam and it's good on the edge. It's hard for them to block in line because it's hard for them to bend. And sometimes you literally have to just get down and cut somebody in a hurry. And we don't have that. Granston has never been a great blocker, although I thought he showed some signs of some things that we hope for. But that'll be tight end by committee. I think Jelani Woods eventually will be very good.
So Rick Venturi joins us now. I agree with the tight ends. The other thing about the pass catchers, you and I have talked about this prior. You're a little bit higher on them, even outside of Michael Pittman Jr., than a lot of people, aren't you?
Yeah, first of all, I got to take my hat off to Pittman. Pittman has inched forward. He's gotten better. He obviously had a good year last year. I think he's still scheme dependent in some ways. I don't see him just flat beating a lot of people one-on-one, but he is really physical, ball in hand, really good coming inside, catching and running. Good, 50-50 guy. He's getting better. I mean, he gives you that big power forward on the weak side and certainly is established. And honestly, John, if you watch training camp closely, it was almost as if when they got in the 11-on-11 drills, there was only one receiver on the field. It just went an inordinate amount of time to Pittman. I think that there's a confidence established immediately there with Matt Ryan. Now, here's what I like, and this is what has to happen. This team failed last year because they couldn't throw the ball well enough. And that's all phases of it, protection, all that stuff, accuracy, separation, and they couldn't stop the pass when they had to. They couldn't stop the pass in the fourth quarter. So those things have to get better. Now, one of the things that happened to us is we got our field reduced because Pittman, everything was inside. Everything to Jonathan Taylor is run. So we ended up playing the game on a very condensed field, numbers to numbers. It's like playing on a postage stamp instead of the whole envelope. Now, I think what Pierce gives us, and I saw it day after day after day, is he gives us that outside speed, outside the numbers. His speed is legitimate. He can climb the defense outside. He can make the circus catch, really good 50-50 kid. We saw that in the Detroit practices, and he's getting better at the route tree. So he initially gives us something that we didn't have, and that's someone who can take the top off outside the numbers, which stretches the defense vertically and horizontally. If you don't do that, then they're going to have 9 guys between the numbers stopping Jonathan Taylor and Pittman on all those drive routes. Now, the other thing is, I think between Doolin and Campbell, we have 2 guys who you can play interchangeably in the slot. If you want to push the field deep, you've got Campbell. Campbell is unusually fast on the inside part of the field. You would think of him as really an outside guy, but he really is an inside guy because he's not a great route runner, but he has tremendous burst, and he's a guy that can break up cover 2. He can get down the seam versus cover 3, run the over routes. And then Doolin is more of a possession, cute type of slot who, if it's 3rd and 3 or 4, you really want Doolin in the game to run the pivots in the options and, the drag routes and things like that. So I think at the top 4, I feel like if they stay healthy, it's going to be better than people think. Now, again, it all has to be proven. Obviously, Campbell has played well. The problem is he can't stay on the field, and Pierce is a rookie, so it's totally unknown. And we've seen Doolin play pretty well when he plays. Now there's not enough numbers to back this up, but I have to go with what I see in training camp, and I think we have a chance to be a lot better. And if we're not, then we'll really struggle. We'll be just like we were at the end of last season. It caught up with us when you lose confidence in your outside passing game and you don't stretch the field. It catches up with you. And, the way defenses have evolved, there's so much single high, there's so much quarters coverage, and what teams have gone back to, which I haven't seen for years, but it's just so popular now, is they're undressing the corners every play. So if you got a quarterback that can throw it and is willing to throw it to the outside, and you got guys that can get back and get down there and push that field and work that outside quarter, you can throw it in modern-day football.
Rick Venturi's with us. I happen to think Michael Pittman Jr. is going to have a bigger year than even a year ago. How much of that rides on what we just talked about? Any of these guys you just mentioned outside of Michael Pittman Jr. being beyond legit production-wise this year?
Well, yeah, John, it's all dominoes. Now, I think you're right in many respects. I think Pittman is getting better every day, and I think Matt Ryan is going to try to get him the ball and Reich schemes like hell to get him the ball. He's, like I said, very scheme-dependent. There's a lot of rub routes that are for him, a lot of crossing routes that are for him, and they're designed to get him open. But let me tell you this. If Pierce comes through, like I think he can, and at least becomes that threat, and Campbell stays healthy and becomes that deep threat down the middle and deep threat outside, that's domino. That just makes Pittman, that gives Pittman then one-on-one all day to work his, bigger size, bigger girth, possession type stuff. And so, it's all interrelated. And, of course, it all starts with Jonathan Taylor. I mean, you have a sensational player, arguably the best player in the league. I'm not going to get into the discussion, but he's in the conversation. He's just simply sensational. You've got a really good hybrid in Hines. So, again, the more weapons that you have in the game, the better every single guy comes. And the more limiting you are, if it's down to an inside passing game and a running game, people can stop that. They can stop it with numbers. And so, these guys are really, everybody's important to one another. I like the idea. I was overtly and covertly for this last year, playing Hines and Jonathan together. You can't do it all day long, but I think it's a good change-up. I think it gives you flexibility, diversity, and it gives you more weaponry. So, I mean, all these things work together. They're all interrelated, but it really goes back to number one, and it's the thing you brought up right from the beginning, is we have to run the football and we have to protect Matt Ryan.
So Rick Venturi's on the Andy Moore Automotive Group hotline. I want to get to Nyheim Hines and Jonathan Taylor because you mentioned them needing to be out there more often than not together. And we didn't see that enough a year ago. And I think much like anything else on this team, it got conveniently blamed on the now Commanders quarterback. But I'll be honest with you, Rick, I oftentimes saw 21 standing over on the sideline holding his helmet. And that part wasn't on Wentz.
Yeah, and that's true. And the head coach and the quarterback are going to take the heat no matter what. I mean, there were 7 games if our defense does anything, we win. There's 3 games we blow double-digit leads that the quarterback's not even in the game. So, you can, if you want to look for blame, you can get a lot of it right there if you're willing to open your mind to it. Here's the thing, and this is why I think it's so important that you have X amount of the game where those two guys play together. You don't want Hines to play for Jonathan Taylor. You want him to play with Jonathan. Jonathan is too good to take snaps away from, run, or pass. Jonathan Taylor is the ambient player on this team. This guy is beyond the pale, and you don't want him sitting for even a good player. You want him there. But if you put Hines in there with him for, let's say it's 30% of the game. Let's say it's 30%. You have immediately now given the defense something that they have to worry about. if I'm a defensive coordinator, and that's how I look at all my breakdowns as a defensive coordinator or as an offensive coordinator, how do I attack this? How do I stop this? And if they're both in the game together, now I have to make a decision on defense. Am I going to play Hines with nickel? Am I going to, because he's a slot receiver, or am I going to stay base? Now, what it does is it gives you a very simple, I'm going to oversimplify it, but it gives you a simple approach on offense. If they go nickel and they lighten the load like Buffalo did against us, and we killed Buffalo, 264 yards rushing, because they stayed nickel against our tight ends, they stayed nickel against that. If you stay nickel, then you got the best runner in the league exactly versus a lighter defense. If you stay base, now you have a guy like Hines in the slot who can work those linebackers one-on-one, and he's a handful. So, that, and then you can bring Hines back in and run the speed stuff, run the misdirection. You can jump in Wildcat with those two guys. I mean, it just gives you diversity, and so they can't just hone in and say, well, the Colts are only going to zone run here, zone run there, so we're going to load up on Taylor. So I like all those aspects. Again, I like the diversity of that kind of stuff, and then I think we have to be able, and I've talked to Frank about this, we have to be able to stretch the field. We have to take shots on the outside of the field to widen that defense and lengthen the defense. Otherwise, they're squatting like they were at the end of last season. They're sitting on you with their whole team inside the numbers.
All right, Nyheim Hines. I talked to both Nyheim on the show and Michael Pittman Jr. They both kind of lean on 21 being more of a wide receiver than running back. What's your vision of how Frank Reich's going to utilize him to the highest level this season offensively?
Well, I think he's a true hybrid. I don't think you're able to define him. He's very much like Eric Metcalf was for us when I was at Cleveland. He is a guy that can line up in the slot, but he can motion back in. He can run the slot patterns. You can flank him outside of your wide receiver and force a linebacker out there or force them to change their coverage. He's really good in space. He can catch the screen. He can catch the speed sweeps and things like that. But he's also a little bit better runner, I think, than people think. We tend to brand him as a space player, but he can come back in there with some misdirection, run the speed sweep from motion, fake the speed sweep and give it to Taylor. There's just so many things, and I don't think that you have to define him either way. I think the value that he has is that as a hybrid, he's half of one and half of the other.
Yeah, it's interesting too, because are you surprised at all that he's also going to have the punt return duties?
No, I mean, we got to win. We have to win with every, and he's still not going to play that much. I mean, I think people are overrating how much he's going to play. Because I don't want him playing for Taylor. I mean, every once in a while I'll spell him, but I do not want Taylor's. Don't get me wrong. His touches may go down this year because of the diversity, and I'm okay with that. But in critical situations, I want that ball to 28. We'll just have to see how that really plays out.
All right, Rick, I'm going to put you on hold, and we're going to come back and think about this because we're going to go. It seems like a rite of passage, you and I, this time of year in the past 4 or 5 years, talking about, hey, what's this quarterback bring to the table? And here we go again. It's another quarterback, Matt Ryan this time. Rick, you're on hold. We'll come back to you coming up on the other side. It is the interview that you have to hear regarding the Colts. Rick Venturi from the radio network, the former NFL coach, rejoins us, and it's all about the quarterback position and Matt Ryan coming up on the other side. Live from Twin Peaks on the northeast side, it's a busy Wednesday on 93.5 and 107.5 The Fan.
Are you ready to feel the excitement of opening night? DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NFL, is giving new customers a can't-miss offer to celebrate the start of a new season. Bet just $5 on Thursday's game and get $200 in free bets instantly. And as an added bonus for Thursday, everyone can experience the thrill of DraftKings early win promotion. It's simple. Bet on Buffalo or LA to win. If your team leads by 7 at any point during the game, you get paid instantly, even if your team loses. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app now and use code 1075FAN to get $200 in free bets instantly when you place a $5 bet on Thursday Night Football. That's code 1075FAN only at DraftKings Sportsbook app. Must be 21 or older. Indiana only. Bonus issued as free bets. One early win token issued at opt-in. Moneyline bets only. Deposit and wagering restrictions apply. Eligibility and terms at DraftKings.com/football terms. If you have a gambling problem, please call 1-800-9-WITH-IT.
Hey, Johnny from BullseyeEventGroup.com, the Colts VIP tailgate presented by Hayes & Sons Restoration. All you can eat, all you can drink inside the Bullseye Event Center before every Colts home game. Remember, the first time the Colts are at home, that is week 3 as they welcome in the Chiefs. So you can make sure you're a part of the pregame tailgate, the absolute best, and also make sure that you go ahead and get yourself some tickets to the game as well. Combo that up, and do not forget about how you can be with me and a group of incredible, insane partiers going to Vegas in November to check out the Colts and the Raiders. A flight to and from. We're staying at Caesars, our very own in Vegas. Colts VIP tailgate presented by Hayes & Sons Restoration and more. Log on right now. Make sure you're a part of that package and our group in November to go to Vegas and get that Colts VIP tailgate presented by Hayes & Sons Restoration now. BullseyeEventGroup.com.
I'm Tom Shane with Shane Company. Have you ever considered what a natural diamond means to the communities where diamonds come from? Natural diamonds support the livelihood of 10 million people around the world. They provide safe, high-quality jobs in diamond mining countries, including South Africa, Botswana, Angola, and Canada, countries where many of our diamonds are recovered. They help fund women-owned businesses across Africa. Natural diamonds help provide access to health care for more than 4 million people and access to education for countless children, including over 500,000 children in rural communities. They're a powerful gift to a country's development and help ensure a lasting legacy for future generations. To learn more about the positive impact of natural diamonds, visit Shanco.com/natural-diamonds. Now you have a friend in the jewelry business. Shane Company and Shanco.com.
Don't you love fall in Indy, but you hate the paint? Well, do what your neighbor Mark did. He called Rhino Shield.
It's a 2-story home built in 1992. Around 2001, looking at needing to paint, I heard a radio ad, with Rhino Shield, you won't have to paint again for another 25 years.
That's because Rhino Shield's not paint. It's better.
They're very professional. We had everything done. Everything that would typically be painted on a house was done, and it was very fast.
All right, Indy, get the 25-year guaranteed protection of Rhino Shield right now for 15% off the regular price.
It was done in 2001 and still going strong. From what I've seen on our home, they can easily offer a 25-year guarantee and not worry about it.
Here's owner Shane Smith.
This offer is limited, so call me at 888-RHINO-41. That's 888-RHINO-41.
Don't paint.
Don't vinyl.
Go Rhino.
No paint. Don't vinyl. Go Rhino Shield. Never paint your house again. Rhino Shield.
Hey, coming up tomorrow, Parks Place Pub and Fishers, our Week 1 edition with Brent Halverson of our Larceny Bourbon Locks and Luna Azul Tequila Shots. Play along with us all year long. By the way, too, sign up for our Pigskin Pick'em, and we can do it all year long. Somebody's going to win a winner-take-all bar restock courtesy of Heaven Hill Distillery. But tomorrow, me and Brent and everything under the Heaven Hill Distillery umbrella at Parks Place Pub and Fishers. Join us there tomorrow with Heaven Hill Distillery at 93.5 and 107.5 The Fan.
Football is back, and so is your chance to win with BetRivers Sportsbook app. Featuring our new multi-game same-game parlay. Combine the action of multiple same-game parlays in one bet for more action and bigger payouts. Bet the spread, bet the over, bet player props, and more. Throw in daily odds boost plus award-winning customer service, and it's a touchdown. Download it today.
Must be 21 plus. Available in Indiana only. Void where prohibited. Terms and conditions apply. If you or someone you know has a gambling problem and wants help, call 1-800-9-WITH-IT.
This is for the men who never settle, the ones who believe only quitters end a game in a tie, the type of guys who choose the bar with the biggest TVs to overcompensate for theirs at home. This is the Lodge mentality. This is Twin Peaks.
Are you a fan of Twin Peaks? Sign up for their e-club to stay up to date on all things Twin Peaks and score free stuff. Signing up is easy. Visit TwinPeaksRestaurant.com/Peaks-Club. Twin Peaks. Eats, drinks, scenic views.
Hellsberg Diamonds presents The Guy Who Got It Right. Tim needed an engagement ring. He did research, listened to hints from his fiance's friends.
She wants a lab-grown, oval-cut, and white gold with a halo.
And he went to Hellsberg Diamonds. At Hellsberg, Tim found an incredible selection of high-quality, lab-grown, and natural diamonds. He also found the ring she really wanted.
Nailed it. She is gonna freak.
Be like Tim. Find the ring of her dreams at a Hellsberg near you or at Hellsberg.com. Ask now about special financing offers.
Our average client received over $54,000 with a simple cash-out refinance. Learn more today at thehomeloanexpert.com. NMLS number 1326241.
The Ride with JMV.
It's Jim Perry. Now talk to him, damn it.
93.5 and 107.5. The Fan.
Welcome back. We're at Twin Peaks. 82nd and I-69 is our location on the northeast side. I'd love to see you there. Here. There. Join us here. It would be fantastic. I promise you that. We're getting you set for the NFL 2022 season. And from the radio network, the former NFL coach, friend of the show, Rick Venturi, rejoins us now. All right. Seems like it's a rite of passage. As I mentioned, every year we're talking about a new quarterback. This year, notwithstanding, once again, we'll do so. So what are your thoughts about this year and 37-year-old Matt Ryan?
Yeah, well, I've watched him very closely from, the first day of mini camp to now. I'll be honest with you, I haven't seen any diminishing of his skill set. Hell, we saw him run for a 12-yard scramble the other day. His arm strength is, to me, what it's always been. He doesn't necessarily have a shotgun, but he's got an above-average arm. Very, very accurate. I think what he brings to you initially is he brings back stability. He walks on the field. He takes charge. He has a special brand of leadership. It's almost businesslike and a presence. He has that NFL presence. He's not a ringmaster like Peyton or even a yeller or a screamer like Phillip Rivers, but he commands respect and he runs the show. He's very decisive. He's going to do things much quicker, much more like Phillip than last year. He has anticipation and he has accuracy. He is quick. When you see him, he's quick to deliver. He's quick there. He's really good on the play action, and that's so important because with the running game, with Jonathan Taylor, and it's so big against Houston, it's so important to have a guy who can run the fake, come out of there, and throw those over routes. You saw the one against Tampa where he hits Pittman down on the 2-yard line where he sticks it in between two guys. So, I think you have a real solid guy. I think what he brings to us is the ability to play balanced, John. I think you're going to have confidence in him. I think you're going to have confidence in the passing game. And when I say balance, I don't mean 50-50. I mean, Jonathan Taylor is still the pivotal part, the fulcrum that this team turns on. But now, if you want to load the box, if you want to play all these guys up to stop him, certainly the skill level will help us on the outside. But the confidence in the quarterback to be able to throw to different spots, throw with accuracy, anticipate, throw where the ball should be, get the ball to the backs and let them run, I see that as a big plus.
How much of this offense through the air is, if at all, is going to be close to how we saw the quick rhythm ball out of there? Not as quick as Phillip Rivers, but is this offense going to be in that ballpark of getting rid of it from Matt Ryan's hand?
No, I think it'll be somewhere in the middle. somewhere between an Andrew Luck and a Phillip Rivers. I see Matt is right about the middle of the road in the NFL. If you rated guys in terms of release and getting rid of the ball, he's about right in the middle. He's not afraid to take shots to the outside. Phillips just wasn't going to take any shots because his arm was gone. I mean, it's just amazing what his will did for us. His will won 11 games because his talent was in the rearview mirror, but he found a way to win. I always said if Phillip Rivers was here those last 2 weeks last year, we'd have been in the playoffs somehow, some way. But Matt has a much, much better arm than he does. Matt he plays the game a lot like Tom Brady, and I'm not going to compare him to Tom Brady and the GOAT and all that, but they play the game very much the same. They're classic drop-back guys who will take what you give him. If you get up there and press him one-on-one and undress that corner, he's going to take his shot to the outside, but yet he can get that ball to a tight end, get that ball to Hines or Taylor, and accurately and let them run for it. So I think he's a guy that you can run your full offense with, all your play action, all your quick rhythm passing. And the biggest thing, as I said, just like a Tom Brady, protection has to be absolutely great. Because you're not going to sit there and say that he's going to beat the blitz with his feet or he's going to avoid a rush. You have to protect him.
So Rick Venturi is with us via the Andy Moore Automotive Group hotline. So let's get back to the comparison of what you expect this year with that of a year ago. How much was, especially end-of-season woes, firmly on the shoulders of the quarterback? Certainly a lot have been made, and now that he's in Washington, it's certainly easier to put it all on Carson Wentz. How much of the dissolving of this team we saw offensively late, especially in those final couple of games, in that final game in Jacksonville, and maybe where the offense wasn't, Rick, a year ago for the entirety of the season, how much of that was on Wentz's shoulders?
Well, there's a percentage that's on Wentz. There's always a percentage of the quarterback. I think the coaching staff also lost confidence in Wentz. I think he became indecisive. He had periods of inaccuracy in games, even in games sometimes where he would come back and play, well. There were games that he turned it over almost like on silly plays. He wasn't nearly as accurate. He wasn't as decisive. A lot of holding on to the ball too long instead of getting it out. So there were definitely issues with him. Also, though, you can spread it around. We did not have skill level. We did not have a receiver core or skill level outside. So basically, as I said earlier in the discussion, basically team jammed it. They knew we weren't going to push it outside, so that by the end of the year they jammed it. You saw Taylor running into walls the last 2 weeks. I mean, when we had to win it, they had people up there to stop it. I think that, and I think the turnovers that our defense had masked a really poor defensive year. We fell down into the middle of the pack. Our fourth quarter, we were 29th in the fourth quarter in terms of points given up, 3 double-digit leads for losses. We were 25th in sacks. The rush fell off. And then in the last 4 years, totally, cumulatively, we were 32nd in the league in pass percentage against. So, you can pass a lot of stuff out, and as much as I'm all for moving forward with Matt Ryan, there was a lot of minuses on this team that have kind of gotten overlooked and have to really be fixed and ready to go this Sunday.
So Rick Venturi with us. I'm going to take a break and come back and give us an extended period to end this hour with you, because I thought you segued us to the point now. Let's go to defense. And okay. What masked it when it was good a year ago. Shaquille Leonard now with Gus Bradley, his effect, and a couple of these new guys, which to me has kind of raised the bar on the expectations for the defensive side of the football for the Colts. We'll put you on hold, Rick, and come back for a final time. Rick Venturi, it is something you absolutely have to hear before the start of every Colts season. He rejoins, and we are going defense with Rick coming up next.
Listen to Kevin and Query this week to win tickets to see Craig Ferguson at the Egyptian Room at Old National Center on Saturday, September 17th.
Denny Smith here for Sundown Gardens. Sundown Gardens' big fall season is here. Visit Sundown Gardens to shop all the new fall inventory in the nursery. Come by Sundown Gardens for fresh fall annuals, including mums arriving weekly. All the fall decor will be here soon. Save the date for their fall open house on September 17th. Follow Sundown Gardens on Facebook and Instagram. Make Sundown Gardens part of your fall season. Sundown Gardens, 186th Street and Spring Mill Road, sundown.gardens.com.
Hey, John, for Andy Moore Buick GMC, 131st, State Road 37. It's in Fishers, and the inventory you're looking for, nobody's out to waste your time here at Indiana's Best. They tell you we've got the inventory. I'll give you a great example. My good friend Jeff Watson needed a new ride, and he wanted something like we had, the GMC Acadia, and he got a hold of my friend Eric Wilson. The wheels were then set in motion, and boom, they had the inventory to set Jeff up with a great ride, a GMC Acadia, brand new with everything loaded up. And if you're looking for a new set of wheels with a car buying experience just like that, I give you my friend Eric Wilson. So contact him today, tell him I sent you, and then get going on a new set of wheels from Indiana's Best. Andy Moore Buick GMC, 131st and State Road 37 in Fishers.
I love that high school sports are about so much more than winning.
I couldn't agree more. While the immediate goal might be to win a game or championship, the real purpose of high school sports is to develop good people, not just good athletes. I'm Robert Falkins, a proud South Bend LaSalle Lion.
And I'm Carrie Rosati, a proud Roncalli Royal. We're both assistant commissioners of the Indiana High School Athletic Association.
In education-based athletics, we care just as much about how student athletes are performing in the classroom as we do about how they're performing on the playing field.
That's because high school sports are a tool to build the character of student athletes, not just their athletic skills.
Developing the whole person rather than just the athlete. That's what high school sports in Indiana are all about.
Support the real purpose of education-based athletics by buying a ticket to your high school's athletic events.
This is training good athletes. This is developing better people. This is your IHSAA.
Business owners and professionals face special challenges in divorce court. In addition to everything else going on, they have to contend with allegations that they are earning more than they are, coupled with claims on their business or practice itself.
Attorney CPA Joe Cordell.
An effective defense often hinges on sophisticated strategies relating to income tax projections, business valuations, spousal support claims. Clients with assets depend on their divorce lawyer skills in these matters, and that's why it's so important to hire someone that has those skills.
Contact the domestic litigation firm of Cordell & Cordell to schedule an appointment with one of our firm's Indianapolis area attorneys, a partner men can count on. 317-322-0122 or visit online at CordellCordell.com. That's CordellCordell.com. Office in downtown Indianapolis. Cordell & Cordell, 101 West Ohio Street, Suite 1100, Indianapolis, Indiana 46204.
The bidding wars are ending, and it's officially a buyer's market. At thehomeloanexpert.com, we have unique loan programs for almost everyone, including those with less than perfect credit, self-employed borrowers, FHA, VA, loans with no down payment, and jumbos up to $6 million. Best part, we have lower interest rates, customer service that no one can match, and a 10-day closing guarantee. Visit thehomeloanexpert.com. NMLS number 1326241.
O'Reilly. Trust the professional parts people at O'Reilly Auto Parts to recommend the best products for your car. Like 5 quarts of Mobile One Full Synthetic, now just $33.95, plus earn double O Rewards points. Extend the life of your vehicle, improve performance, and protect your engine against sludge and wear with Mobile One Full Synthetic at O'Reilly Auto Parts and O'ReillyAuto.com.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
Hey, everybody, it's time to get going. And for me and you, all of us, it's with Caesars Sportsbook. And, hey, first things first here, your first bet with Caesars Sportsbook, it's on Caesars up to $1,250. And all you have to do is download the app, use the promo code RADIOFULL, RADIOFULL, Radio Full. Then place your first bet. If you win, that's great. If you don't, you're going to get that stake back. as a free bet. For example, the Colts on the road for Week 1, 7-point favorites. How would you feel about playing that bad boy right there? Or a host of others with the absolute best, and that is Caesars Sportsbook. Bet like a Caesar and get more with Caesars Rewards. Flat out, Caesars, they can do stuff that just others can't, right? They can offer tickets, free stays, experiences, and more. Caesars Sportsbook Radio Full is the promo code. Get started on that today. Open to new users in Indiana, 21 years or older. Qualifying bet loses. Bet amount returned as a credit. Must use within 14 days. See Caesars.com/promos for full terms. If you or someone you know has a gambling problem and wants help, call 1-800-9-WITH-IT.
Making your money go further is more important than ever. So Diamonds Direct's bringing back our most popular offer of the year. 5 years, zero interest financing on any purchase. Now for a limited time, you get the amazing value Diamonds Direct is known for, and you can spread your payments over 5 years. Zero down, zero interest. A $6,000 diamond ring is just $100 a month. Don't miss this extraordinary offer going on now. 5 years, zero interest financing on anything and everything at Diamonds Direct. Your love, our passion. Details at diamondsdirect.com on approved credit.
The Indy 1500 Gun and Knife Show is this Friday, Saturday, and Sunday at the Indiana State Fairgrounds. For hunting, sporting, and personal protection gear, visit the Indy 1500 Gun and Knife Show.
Thursday on Kevin and Query, NFL season officially kicks off, and we'll be looking at the Colts and Texans. Mark Vandermeer, the voice of the Texans, will join us. Fun begins at 7, 93.5, 107.5 The Fan.
The Ride with JMV.
Awesome! Totally awesome! All right, Hamilton.
93.5 and 107.5 The Fan.
Twin Peaks and Castleton join us here. Officially starting Week 1 of the NFL anticipation from the Colts Radio Network. Matt Taylor, Lara Overton got you covered from Houston. Coming up on Sunday for Week 1 with the Colts and the Texans. Rick Venturi has been with us for the entirety of the 4 o'clock hour. Rejoins now on the Andy Moore Automotive Group hotline. I think you and I both are on the same page. We've probably been more excited about what has transpired defensively in the offseason than anything else, and that's including bringing in Matt Ryan. Let's start at the top. All right, Eberflus now in Chicago. The Colts get to go out after somebody else. They bring in Gus Bradley. What do you think about, at least in the short term this season, as a defensive coordinator, and what this defense will look like under Bradley?
Well, first of all, Gus brings juice. He's a guy that could get veterans to buy in, but he can accelerate the development of young players. I think they're more nuanced in coverage, more aggressive, I think, in coverage than the previous crew. Along with that, I think Ron Miles, personally to me, is the premier secondary coach in the National Football League, and I think you're going to see a vast improvement, particularly in press techniques, particularly in the technical and technique aspects of the game, where what has to get better. I mentioned 3 stats, and it's really all about that. Number 1, 32nd in the league over 4 years in terms of pass percentage given up. We slipped down to 25 in the rush last year, and we're 29th in the fourth quarter. Now, those things have to be fixed, and they have to be fixed with 2 things: clamp down coverage and pass rush, particularly edge rush. Now, acquisitions have been important. Getting a guy like Ngakoue is a 10-sack-a-year guy. It's historic. We don't have to hope for it. It's going to happen. Gilmore looks to me to be on top of the game. So Gilmore looks like a guy that he played all right corner in the summer, but he's a guy that you can match on a top guy. He's done it. He did it for Bill all the time in New England. Kenny Moore is a top-flight nickel, so the biggest key is how do you help Faison? How does Faison hold up as the third corner? Does Isaiah Rodgers come back and push him, and so forth and so on? I think that's critical. We've got 2 potential great safeties. Blackman is a star waiting to happen, and this Cross kid has just special skill levels. In terms of the front, obviously Buckner, I think, can make things happen at the 3, Ngakoue off the edge, and I think that Grover has just come on. I think he's the most underrated probably player on this team. Pay, I don't know who he is yet. I think he'll benefit from Ngakoue and Buckner, and I think he'll be better on the power side of the defense. I think Lewis is ready to go as the fifth guy. Beyond that, Dio's going to have to really come on. He hasn't shown it. You got a bunch of guys. I think the defensive interior behind Buckner and behind Stewart is shaky. I don't think there's a lot of depth there, but on the front line, that's a pretty good-looking crew. Linebackers can really go. Obviously, you have a turnover machine in Leonard, but I'm not as concerned as a lot of people. He is a unique player. He is. I don't even hardly consider him a linebacker. He's almost like a safety plan linebacker. He's not a big contact player, but he has that rare ability, like no one I've ever seen, to get that ball out and to get it out in critical situations. So, he is the guy that can make that happen. That, we may not have that full speed here in the beginning. Even if he plays, he may not play a whole game, or he may not have that. But he'll bring that. But we're okay at linebacker because with EJ's speed, and Franklin and Okereke, I mean, those three guys can play. So, I look for us to be better. My biggest concerns in the summertime, I thought that we did a really good job against our own team in padded practices and against Detroit on the pass defense part of it. I thought the pass defense was improved, and, of course, that's critical, as I've pointed out here several times today. I didn't think we looked great against the run. Our backup guys were horrendous in preseason games. I mean, we gave up 179 yards in one game. But I didn't even think our veterans were great against the run. Now, that may be it's hard to judge in practice when you're not tackling. But, I'm a little concerned there, and we have to do a great job against Houston. The last thing we want is for them to take Pierce and be able to run him, eat some clock, and take the pressure off Mills. We don't want that to happen. We have to stop that cold. I'd like to see a little bit more coverage diversity. I think we'll see it with game plans, coverage diversity, and blitzing. And then I think the two things that we have never really done, and they really have to improve, and I think they will, but they have to, is we have to be able to take away a receiver in a game. If you get a guy like Cooks, who's clearly, for Houston, the go-to guy, there's got to be a time in the game when the game's on the line that you schematically can take him away. And then the other thing that we've been really poor with, and we're going to get it driven down our throat, and we weren't good this summer, is bootleg passing. And, we start with Mills, you go to Lawrence, you go to Mahomes, and then number 4, you go to Tannehill, and then Russell. I mean, you got guys that are going to wear our ass out on the perimeter if we don't learn how to stop the bootleg. And it's really, really important that we get that done, because that first month we'll get worn out with that. So, I'm excited about the defense. It's really hard for me to judge the defense until we tackle. And we've really only played the ones we did it in practice against Detroit. I thought we had the better day the first day, and classically they came back and had the better day the second day. That happens all the time. And our only real live test, live bullets, was really the 2 quarters against Tampa. And I thought we shorted up pretty good. We were ugly in the beginning, but then Stewart and Gilmore took the game over, to be honest with you, on defense. And so, I'm looking forward to that. Again, if I recap the whole thing, and that includes the defense, is I like this team. I think this team can contend. I think at the starter level on both sides of the ledger, it's pretty doggone good with minimum liabilities. So, but again, they have to be ready. You have to go to Houston, and you have to know that this is the game. This is not a game. This is the game. And what happened last year doesn't mean anything. This team, Houston, is vastly improved. They're going to be better for one, because Lovie Smith will bring steadiness to stability, calmness to a dysfunctional franchise before. They've got a young quarterback who, in the last 5 games last year, threw for 1,258 yards and had a 102 passer rating. I think that's lost on people. Pierce has just been balls out in the summer in terms of runner. Cooks, 6,000-yard seasons out of the last 8. Good tackles, and Tunso and Howard. A defense that has 3 huge acquisitions. They got a lottery corner in Stingley, a good corner in Nelson, and the Petrie kid who's at safety is their candidate for Rookie of the Year, and he's very much like our kid Cross. They've added Jerry Hughes that brings 58 sacks opposite Greenert. And one thing about Lovey's team, is, they were awful a year ago, but they've helped themselves in personnel. Lovey did some real evolution in his system. He was very much like us, vanilla, zone, for a long time. But if you look at them as the year went on last year, a lot more matchup, a lot tougher, and you add some new players to them. And the one thing they're always going to do is they're going to be sound, they're going to play with a vision, and they're always going to go to the ball with great effort. And they've been playing 100 miles an hour this summer, and they get turnovers. I mean, even though they were 32nd and they were awful, they were like 12th in turnovers with 25, even though they're never playing an advantage a year ago. So, again, I look for a vastly improved team. Same with Jacksonville. Those two teams, are they contenders? No. But are they good on a given Sunday? You better believe it. And so, you've got to go down there to get your job done, to break the September curse.
All right, Rick, quickly before I have to let you go and go to the top of the hour, any concerns in the kicking category? Whether it's Hawk coming in for the injured Sanchez or Blankenship trying to get you an extra point or 3 on a regular basis.
Yeah, I mean, I can't say that I'm not concerned, because those guys are good until they're not. Obviously Hawk came in and, had a terrific debut here, but, his history hasn't been that good. And Rod, you just never know. You never know what you got there. So I'm not concerned about our special teams. One thing Ballard always does is a really good job on that second and third day in the draft and undrafted free agents, and we'll have enough good bottom roster guys with the coaching of Ventrone that will go down. I mean, our last preseason game when everybody was fighting for their life, our special teams were special. But again, I would have to say that the kickers have to prove it. The loss of Sanchez is big, for 2 reasons. There's nobody that kicks any better than he does inside the 20, and he's also a tremendous touchback guy on kickoffs. So, they're going to return some kicks. We're going to have to be better there. And then, as I said, we'll just have to see. I mean, that's, kickers are, they're good until they're not. So those are things we'll hold our breath on.
All right, I can't wait. You, Matt, and Lara from Houston coming up on Sunday. Hey, Rick, this is really special. A couple of times a year you come on and break it down to start and then break it down to finish at the end of the year. Thank you so much for being a part of the last hour. People look so forward to it.
John, I want to do one thing. I want to do a little bit of self-promotion.
Yes.
Every Wednesday I am on the Colts, the Colts Network. Matt and I do Inside Football with Rick Venturi, and if you want the best breakdown every Wednesday, it's usually up about 4 o'clock. It's up right now on Houston, and then next week Jacksonville. As my wife says, the show's not for everyone, but if you're a football guy, you like X's and O's, and you really want an in-depth breakdown on the team, go to the Colts website every Wednesday afternoon and get that podcast.
You got it, buddy. I can't thank you enough, as always. Great knowledge.
All right, good friend.
Great as usual. And we'll talk at you on Sunday during the Colts pregame huddle, too.
I'll see you on Sunday. Okay, bud.
All right, Rick, thank you. Rick Venturi on the Andy Moore Automotive Group hotline. That was spectacular. We'll put that entirety up on a podcast in just a second. Twin Peaks, Northeast Side, Castleton. Quick break. We'll come back for the morning show. Kevin Bowen's with us, and we'll react to a lot of what Rick had to say, have you guys respond to it as well. And inside the lounge via YouTube Live, there is going to be a trivia question. Somebody's going to get in our fantasy football league, as well as using the phones, too. Don't leave.
Jake Query here. The world-famous Figure 8 takes center stage this weekend at the Tom Wood Group Indianapolis Speedrome, powered by Lincoln Tech. Thursday through Saturday, it's the 46th Annual World Figure 8 Championship 3-hour endurance race weekend. Racing and practice both Thursday and Friday night, leading to the spectacle, excitement, and wildness of 3 hours of Figure 8 racing mayhem on Saturday. Over 40 cars and drivers will battle to become a Figure 8 racing legend Saturday night. Ticket prices, location, and more at speedrome.com.
Hey, it's JMV for CarX Tire and Auto, serving the Indianapolis market for over 40 years. 14 Central Indiana, Joe Childers run locations of CarX. I'm talking absolutely everything for your car, truck, or van. Full service auto repair specialists. We're talking brakes, tires, engine alignments, exhaust, oil changes, all that and more. And how about this for a JMV special? $109.99 lifetime brake pads per axle and save $200 on a set of 4 select Continental tires. Those are the JMV specials. 14 Central Indiana CarX locations to serve you. Car, truck, or van, they have exactly what you're looking for. Full service auto repair all in one place. Tell Joe Childers I sent you. 14 Central Indiana CarX locations. There is one near you. Find out where it is online today. It's CarX.com.
Discover downtown Indy with Indiana Sports Corp's annual Indy Ultimate, Saturday, September 10th, starting and finishing at Monument Circle. Experience the best of downtown's venues and landmarks with this 5-mile run-walk. This year's brand new route includes Carroll Stadium, the state capitol, and favorites like Lucas Oil Stadium and Victory Field. The Jim Irsay collection will be up in Lucas Oil Stadium with items used by some of the greatest artists in music history. Run with a friend or bring a group. Participants get an Adidas shirt, medal, and Indy 11 voucher to a future match. Register now at IndyUltimate.com.
As a roofer, every second counts. Late deliveries and incomplete orders cost me time and money. That's why I partner with Beacon. Beacon's unique network of branches work together to get me what I need when I need it. Every branch working together. With Beacon, I know my supplies will be delivered on time and complete. Homeowners rely on me, so I rely on Beacon because I never stop building, and neither do they. Go to BECN.com to get started building with Beacon. Beacon, always building.
Hey, it's John for Love Heating and Air Conditioning. That's love-hvac.com. Making sure your system's good to go for the late summer and now into fall. Hey, before we know it, we're going to be into wintertime, and it's been a rough summer with the heat and humidity. So make sure your system is on the right track and is not working inefficiently. With my friends John and Chris Love at Love Heating and Air, contact them today. love-hvac.com.
Take the next step in your construction career by becoming a union carpenter.
Some of the best pay in the industry.
Amazing health and retirement benefits.
Ongoing cutting-edge training.
Creating my own career path so I can do what I love.
High safety standards.
Great employment opportunities. Why will you join the Carpenters Union? Join the 75,000 men and women in Indiana who build our communities. For more information, visit the Construction Industry Partnership at indianacip.com.
There's a lot of people out there that could really use some extra cash, but for whatever reason, they don't want to refinance. But think about this. How much is your home worth today? Now, how much do you owe? The difference is your equity. Now, what could you do with that extra cash? Pay off those high interest rate credit cards? Make home improvement projects a reality? Our average client received over $54,000 with a simple cash out refinance. TheHomeLoanExpert.com. The Home Loan Expert LLC, NMLS number 1326241.
Got a great idea for you. Don't miss it for a limited time here. It's not going to last for long. 5 years, 0 interest, nothing down, everything in the store at Diamonds Direct. Not too far down 82nd Street. Diamonds Direct, the location. I would advise you to go, and especially if you're thinking about taking that relationship to the next level. thinking about popping the question, or if you need that special gift and you want to save, you don't have to tell anybody the savings part. Just know that the people that have your back with that great gift is Diamonds Direct. Right now, for a limited time, 5 years, 0 interest, and nothing down with Diamonds Direct. Online, store hours, location, and more. That's diamondsdirect.com. On approved credit, Diamonds Direct, Keystone at the Crossing.
Ball State football has 5 Saturday home games. Join us September 10th as the Cards take on Western Michigan at 2 p.m. Secure tickets at ballstatesports.com or charge by phone 888-BSU-TICKET.
Hubler makes it easy to get your perfect car or truck. Get your vehicle your way. They'll help you pre-order a vehicle built just for you. Visit drivehubler.com.
93.5 and 107.5, The Fan.
WIBC HD2, W298BB, WIBC HD3, W228CX, Indianapolis. Avon travels to Brownsburg on Friday Night Football. The action begins at 7 on 93.5 and 107.5, The Fan.
The Ride with JMV.
This will be the high point of my day. It's all downhill from here.
93.5 and 107.5, The Fan.
We are back at Twin Peaks. I'm going to tell you, whether it's college football or the start of the NFL season, which is officially underway tomorrow night, this is the place here. TVs everywhere. Great food, ice-cold beer, whatever you're looking for is right here at Twin Peaks. And again, start of the NFL season coming up tomorrow evening. College football is underway. If you are looking for that place is right here, 82nd and I-69. It is Twin Peaks. Shout out to Rick Venturi, who was outstanding. If you missed any of it, I think that we do have, technically speaking, the wherewithal to put that up on a podcast today, which I cannot wait for you to hear. Do not miss any of Rick Venturi, who was just with us via the Andy Moore Automotive Group hotline, top to bottom regarding the Colts to the start of this NFL season. And remember, you've got his podcast with Colts.com. You also have he and Matt and Lara Overton coming at you from Houston on Sunday. We'll help get you there. The Colts pregame huddle is live at BottleWorks. That's me and former Colts wide receiver Bill Brooks. We begin at 10 a.m. coming up on Sunday morning. Normally, during road games, we're in studio, but because they're having the official Colts viewing party on Sunday at BottleWorks, we're going to be live at BottleWorks coming up on Sunday. So 10 a.m., and then after we're talking food and beverages. Bud Light's going to help get you there with us. BottleWorks coming up on Sunday for the official Colts viewing party, and you can be a part of the Colts pregame huddle with us beginning at 10 a.m. here on 93.5 and 107.5 The Fan. Rick Venturi podcast, 107.5thefan.com. If you missed any of that whatsoever, on the road tomorrow, it is week number 1. Me, Brent Holverson, Larceny Bourbon Locks, Luna Azul Tequila Shots. That is coming at you from Parks Place Pub. We are in Fishers with Brent and the gang coming up tomorrow. That's absolutely can't miss. And by the way, coming up on Friday, I've got Chiefs Colts tickets courtesy of Zinc and Bud Light for you. We're going to be down at the Mucky Duck on the south side, 65 Southport Road, Friday, Mucky Duck. Chiefs Colts tickets to give away coming up on Friday down at the Mucky Duck. Shout out to Todd Johnson. Can't wait to be there on Friday. Meantime, Andy Moore Automotive Group hotline for the morning show. Kevin and Query, weekday mornings, 7 until 10 a.m. Kevin Bowen's with us. Now, it sounded weird. It was almost like, Kev, today with Frank Reich, there was a bit of a mixed message regarding Shaquille Leonard. Now, I'll set it up and tell you why. It sounded like that we were all thinking that now he's going to be back, and it felt like that Frank Reich poured cold water on that. But then at the same time, he also talked about how he felt that Leonard is still good at 80%. So what do you gather from what you heard from the Colts head coach about Leonard earlier today?
Yeah, John, it was one of those questions when I asked him as he made his way through his answer, I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm so confused like 3 different times through it. I kind of regretted asking him the question in the first place. Yeah, if we would have this conversation yesterday, I probably would have said, you know what, I think there's a legit chance Shaquille Leonard plays on Sunday. And then at different points in Reich's answer, I'm like, wait a minute, that doesn't sound like he's going to play. And the question that I asked him was, is 3 practices enough this week? They didn't practice Monday. They just did a walkthrough. Yes, he did practice last week. But is that enough for him based off what he did last week and a couple of days on the practice field and then what he would be doing, today, tomorrow, and Friday? Is that enough? I tend to think you hear the 80% label that Reich threw out. I also look at, what about a pitch count? And I think you got to make it very clear when you use the term pitch count, you would be using it for his conditioning, not for worrying about risk of injury. If there's a worry about risk of further injury, and that's something you feel like could quiet down in a week or two, I would continue to sit him. But if the question is more of a conditioning thing, and you feel like he only has 20 good plays in him or whatever, then I think you put him out there on third down and in red zone and 2-minute or whatever situations that you want to. Those are the situations he seems to thrive in. Those are also situations that you see a lot of times defensively. You rotate guys in just for passing downs all the time. In practice, you practice just those situations all the time. It's not like subbing in an offensive lineman in and out of the lineup, which would be, a lot weirder than that. So, again, if you listen to the right answer, which I thought you laid it out very well, like 3 different times, I'm like, wait, he's playing? Wait, he's not. Wait, he's playing? Wait, he's not. If you're going to make me guess now, I might be on just the other side of 50-50 and saying that he won't play, but I still don't say that with a ton of confidence.
Well, I think there's only one absolute here. Their absolute is they want him to be as close to as fully healthy as possible before he embarks on the season because of what he went through a year ago and, consistently having to fight through injuries each and every week. Now, I think the issue that you have when you answer it in the fashion in which Frank Reich did today is, you clearly didn't. You said basically if he practices fully this week, it doesn't mean he's going to play. However, he could play at 80%. That just altogether is weird. And how much do you think, say, that Shaquille Leonard is going to have regarding his body, regarding his health to this team and trying to get himself in that lineup Sunday?
Yeah, I think it's a big part of it. And I know a lot of people are like, well, the player's always going to want to play. Yeah, to a degree, but, he was pretty open, John, this offseason. And you and I have had this conversation. Shaquille Leonard, admitted that he, had some struggles and, his love for the game of football. I don't know if question is the right word to use, but it was something that he thought about, just dealing with a lot of stuff physically. And there are also some stuff off the field. I believe he had a death in the family that certainly played into that. How I look at the situation is this, and Irsay and Ballard, probably more so than Reich, have said all along, it's a long season. You got to get, him to as close to 100% as possible because we don't want him, getting to the point where 3 good plays and then 2 bad plays. And, there are times last year where, he just didn't look like he belonged out there on the field. And other points, he looked like he was, the best defensive player in the league. So I look at it of if you feel like with confidence, if you continue to ramp him up in practice and you continue to, get further away from the back surgery in June and all of that, and you feel like by week 3, now you have more of a chance to have a season where he's close to 100%, less of a risk of injury, all that, then you continue to sit him. But if those things aren't going to change a whole lot between now and week 3, a pitch count on Sunday would be fine to me. Having said that, with Bobby Okereke and Zaire Franklin at linebacker and E.J. Speed as the third linebacker, there's no reason why you should lose the Houston Texans with or without Shaquille Leonard.
Yeah, I agree. That's why I kind of wonder if, and I know that they're trying to be careful in not suggesting that he will and then have to go back because we've been down this path 1,000 times, especially with Andrew Luck back in the day, and I know they don't want to revisit any of that. At the same time, and it's almost like if you take Frank for what he says regarding his health, and I know how close to 100% they want him to be, maybe it would be better off if he just wouldn't float him out there until week number 2, for example, in Jacksonville. And I'm not suggesting Houston's going to be an easy role whatsoever. You just can't with this Colts team, because really, if you're Houston and everybody's writing you off, your most inspired performance is probably going to be in your home opener coming up in week number 1. That's probably before any losses, anything like that. So your inspiration, I think, is going to come on Sunday. Yeah, that said, kind of got me thinking maybe Leonard does make that return to Jacksonville coming up a week from Sunday instead.
Yeah, and I would agree. I mean, obviously, if you're going to rank the opponents, I think, Jacksonville is more formidable than Houston. I know we often kind of group them together in the basement. I tend to think that Jacksonville has more talent in that one. And it's just, the whole thing is weird. I felt like it was more ankle related, and then today, it's a back label on the injury report. I guess he did have surgery on the back in June, but I thought it was more to correct the ankle pain, and that there wasn't necessarily like a huge amount of a back injury to be dealing with all of this. So it's confusing. It's odd. Part of me thinks, is there a little bit of a public, do the Colts not want to act like they're demeaning the Texans, and so they want to continue to throw out there there's a chance Leonard plays, just so that the Texans, think obviously that he's going to play. And then secondly, it doesn't look like that they're acting like he's definitely going to sit. But I think the best news outside of Leonard related, John, is, well, I guess including Leonard, all 53 Colts practiced today. Dennis Kelly was the only one limited. So 52 guys fully practiced. And I was looking up last year's injury report in week 1 when you had Xavier Rhodes out, you had Kamoko Toure out, you had Eric Fisher out. Quentin Nelson and Carson Wentz were still, questionable and kind of up in the air if they would play in the opener. It's just such a far cry from where you were last year leading into week 1 against the Rams.
I was going to ask you this, too. How far back do we have to go to have basically most, if not close to all, in attendance leading up to the start of a season?
Yeah, that's a good question. I tend to think most week 1 injury reports look pretty healthy. The Texans, I believe, had 52 of their 53 guys practice today. But, I can think back to Jabal Sheard getting hurt the first day of camp one year and him being out through the whole first month. Obviously, you had your Andrew Luck situations. Costanzo injured his hamstring one off season working out, then aggravated it during camp, and I think he missed the first 4 or 5 games of, I want to say it was a 2018 season. So, even if it wasn't super long in quantity, John, there's usually been a name that has been on that injury report. And yes, Leonard obviously is a name, but, with all the concern about, oh boy, are they going to play their starters more in the preseason? Could that lead to more injuries? That seems to be just fine from where they're at from a health standpoint. And it just seems like from that, John, the Harold Landry news last week, go back to the A.J. Brown trade, everything seems to be falling in line, and it's why I've repeated the phrase a lot. I can't recall the last time I've been this confident in a Colts team within this division in quite some time. I know a lot of people go back to 2018 when Andrew Luck played, but think about that. Frank Reich is a first-year head coach. Deshaun Watson was still leading the Texans at that time. You had a new defense, a huge overhaul, and Luck hadn't played football in a year. So I don't even think you go to that season. It just seems like you got to go back to 2015, 2016 for the last time, at least me personally, has been this confident in the Colts within the division.
Kevin Bowen in the morning show. He's half of that. He and Jake Query, Kevin and Query, weekday morning 7 until 10 a.m. here on 93.5 and 107.5 The Fan. He's on the Andy Moore Automotive Group hotline. Is it okay for me to go with my earlier in camp prediction of 10 wins with them winning the division and this still being viewed as a good season if they do that? Because a lot of people suggest I'm not believing in them because I'm only having a 10-win season for them during the regular season. They think that's a bit low. I still have that feeling that it's going to be in and around 10. If it's below, it's a bad season, a lost season, and we'll see what happens. But if it's above, then, obviously they play much better than what I think. Is 10 wins in the ballpark of what you're thinking starting this year?
Yeah, I went with 11. I'm going to post it tomorrow on our website, kind of going game by game. I did a little analysis at the bottom, and I mentioned I probably am closer to 10 than I am to 12, if you really want to kind of nitpick exactly where I am on the 11-win meter. I mean, there are stretches of the season where I'm like, man, that they got to have a loss. I think I have them winning like their final 4 games of the year, maybe their final 5 games of the year. I got to beat the Chargers on Monday Night Football at home. Maybe people don't think that. I got them losing at New England. Maybe people don't view that as a loss. I just think it's paramount. It's absolutely paramount to win the division. I think I've said this often, when you think about this era, John, and guys like Jonathan Taylor or Michael Pittman, I mean, the one playoff game, Julian Blackmon, whoever else, the one playoff game they've experienced or felt, was that COVID playoff game with Buffalo in front of 6,000, 7,000 fans. So they haven't really gotten a taste of what real playoff football is about. And honestly, I remember talking to Coach Venturi at practice a few weeks back, and he was saying, that is spot on about this regime. Maybe regime isn't the right word to use, but this core group of players getting a taste of playoff football. And how Coach Venturi broke it down to me, and I apologize if he said this to you in the last hour. I need to go back and listen. But basically, he's like, you've got preseason football. That's one sector of intensity level. You've got regular season football, which is another. Then you have December football, and then you have playoff football. So basically, it's just a step ladder of 4 different levels of intensity throughout a season. And the core of this team, young core that you expect to be here post Matt Ryan, a lot of them have really only tasted December-type football. And unfortunately, you saw what happened last year in the month of December. So, 10 wins, while that might be a little bit on the low end for what some people are predicting, if you can do that, win the division, get a home playoff game, experience that atmosphere, maybe you win that game, maybe you don't, I just think that is huge for those guys to feel, taste, and then kind of keep on building from there.
Kev, I think they have maybe one falter within the division in them without there being a level of FUBAR. Would you agree, or do you have them sweeping the division?
Yeah, I went with 5-1. I have a lot of respect for Mike Vrabel. I think those losses are big, but it just seems like he finds a way. I think something we forget about Tennessee last year, John, they played the most players in NFL history. They played like 90 guys over the course of last season. Usually when you see that number, it's a team that's had gobs of injuries, or they're just playing all the young guys late in the season. They called up everybody from the practice squad to get a look at them. Yet Tennessee had the number 1 overall seed, playing the most guys in NFL history, dealt with all those injuries, obviously the Derrick Henry one being the biggest one. So I have them losing at Tennessee. To your FUBAR comment, I would say the most FUBAR would come from a loss on Sunday. If you're going to look at the divisional games, because, after Sunday, if you were to lose week 2 to Jacksonville, well, yes, that would bring the ridicule and the embarrassment of continuing to lose in Jacksonville for a 24, 48-hour period. You're then welcoming in the Kansas City Chiefs for your home opener that next Sunday. So that's not going to linger as long as, maybe those other Jacksonville losses, certainly the most recent one, has. But week 1, that would be an interesting week, if you were to drop that and just dealing with all of it. Touchdown favorite, probably the easiest opponent you're going to see all year long. I would say the least talented opponent in Houston. But I've got 5-1. And it is interesting to note, of the 6 division games, you got 5 in the first 7 weeks, and then you don't play a division opponent again until the season finale.
I just think that, to me, you got to sweep Houston and Jacksonville and split with Tennessee.
Right.
You agree?
Yeah. Because I don't see Tennessee going 5-1 in the division. So if you went 5-1 and you split with Tennessee, you would have the head-to-head tiebreaker, because after head-to-head, it goes to division record, and you'd be good. And frankly, even us discussing this on September 7th, I just think the Colts should be a game or two better than Tennessee this year. Those losses, again, of Landry and Brown are huge. And that's, expecting Henry to stay healthy and expecting Treylon Burks, their rookie, to come in and impact quickly. And, Tannehill not to look like the guy we saw in the wild card or in the divisional loss they had to the Bengals. So yeah, anything short of 5-1 would be a disappointment. And that's even with Jacksonville, I think, taking a little bit of a jump. Even with that, it's still a first-year head coach and working back some guys from injury and just honestly kind of rebuilding confidence for probably a lot of guys as well. So I think anything short of 5-1 would be a division. And when you look at the schedule, if you go 3-3 or 4-2 in this division, now you got to steal, games from other places. Like right now, AFC West 4 games, you'd sign up for 2-2 right now. So it just you start to look to other parts of the schedule to get some, and there's no givens.
It's weird when I'm thinking about them winning 10 games, but there's almost a feeling I already have them needing to start 2-0. But then you obviously get greedy and you want to take your home opener, even though you're playing Kansas City. Let's say hypothetically they start the season 3-0, and then I have them winning 10 games. So you only win 7 the rest of the way. That'd be kind of odd, I guess, right? If you get started that well in those first 3.
Yeah. Let me look up what I had. I feel like I had a little bit more of a back half. They get on a run. I had them obviously winning the first 2. I got a loss to Kansas City, a loss to Denver. I did have a stretch in there where they lose back-to-back at New England, at Las Vegas. And at that point, their record, in my prediction, would be 5-5. So now that I look at it, I would have them then winning 6 of their last 7. There's that stretch there, John, where it starts in week 7. They go Tennessee, Washington, New England, Las Vegas, Philadelphia, and if you want to stretch it even further, Pittsburgh, Dallas, Minnesota, and the Chargers. So that is a long stretch. I feel like that's like 9 games. But honestly, if we were having this conversation in any of those 9 markets right now, they probably are all thinking to themselves, we're talking about a playoff caliber team. Washington, maybe not, but the NFC East, you just never know. But I mean, the Patriots were in it last year. The Raiders, the Eagles were in it last year. The Steelers were held back by their quarterback last year. They still made the playoffs. The Cowboys, I feel like in a way that the Vikings are kind of the Colts of the NFC. Like, you just feel like they're always there, but not necessarily making deep January runs. And then the Chargers seems to be kind of everyone's darling Super Bowl pick. So when you look at that, I mean, that's kind of like a 2-month run there of I've got the Colts winning, a decent amount of them, but those are a lot of games that if you're going to put like lines on them right now, I don't think you'd have either side favored by more than a field goal or so.
Tell you, though, when you look further down the road, and we're talking about premium games coming up here in the first 2 weeks on the road, but if there is a must-win of must-wins, it is difficult to imagine allowing Carson Wentz to come in here and come away with a win for the Washington Commanders. There's the must-win of must-wins right there, right?
Can you imagine? I mean, literally Carson Wentz going double birds to the owner. But I know he's a nice Christian man, but that's what he'd be doing to Jim Irsay with that one. Yeah, that's one you just got to have. I mean, that's probably one of the ones that you'd put in the not necessarily the Jacksonville-Houston category, but it's in that tier just above that one.
Yeah, gotta. I mean, that's further down the road. We'll have plenty of time to talk about that. But, man, that is beyond must win. No doubt about that. Kevin Bowen, Kevin and Query, weekday mornings here on The Fan, begins at 7 a.m., goes until 10 a.m. I want to look back really quick, and then we'll move forward and get you out of here. IU, Purdue, Notre Dame, the start of the college football weekend this past week, beginning Thursday night in Purdue. Some of your thoughts on that and how these local teams did as a result after week number 1.
Yeah, I guess let's start with the Boilers. You're definitely disappointed just because that is going to linger for a while in that, it's probably another month before you play a game that will somewhat rival, the impact within the conference. And, that was your chance crossover game to, I think, get one early on Iowa and Wisconsin. Now, Iowa, it might be laughable after their performance in week one to act like they're a Big Ten West favorite. But with them playing at Ohio State, each of them, Wisconsin and Iowa, you felt like if you're a Boiler fan and you got that one, there's the extra game right there. And if you're able to maybe split the head-to-head against Iowa and Wisconsin, I mean, hell, you could be representing the West here at Lucas Oil Stadium. So I just think the margin for error has shrunk so much. If that is the goal, like if maybe I'm a little bit too lofty with that, but let's just see how the Big Ten West plays out. I still think Aiden O'Connell will be the best quarterback really on the field for probably every matchup Purdue has the rest of the season. For the Irish, as certainly a massive Notre Dame fan, I feel somewhat encouraged leaving Saturday night. I know it's a bit of a loser mentality. I
don't think it is at all. I talked about that yesterday, Kev. I don't think it is at all. I know you're a Notre Dame fan, but you had a level of expectations, and I thought the way Notre Dame played, even in a loss, there are only a couple of teams, to me, in college football that are have-tos week in and week out. And, that's Georgia and Alabama. Ohio State certainly to a degree, but it starts with Georgia and Alabama. I think the way that they played, especially on the road, new head coach and all that, I think that's something you can lean on and watch them get better and be better in those situations against better teams down the road. I don't think that's a loser's mentality whatsoever, regardless of the history of the program.
Yeah, part of me, as I was watching that game and it got to the second half and they were hanging around, I'm thinking, boy, is this the chance? I don't know, maybe you feel like a little bit of a missed opportunity there. They still have the schedule where, BYU coming up in a few weeks on neutral field. Clemson will be the massive one at home in early November. That is, I don't know, maybe it's a little bit too early. Assuming both those programs take care of business, that probably is a play-in game for the playoff. If you assume that Georgia, Alabama, and Ohio State take care of business, I don't know, maybe Michigan will have something to say about it, Texas A&M, who knows. And then with IU, that was darn impressive on that final drive. I think it saved a lot of it just creates a different taste. I don't know if I sit here and act like IU now is a 6-win football team, but it's a positive step. And that program just hasn't had, any positive steps in the last 12 to 14 months. Ever since Micah McFadden gets ejected for targeting against Cincinnati, it just seemed like it's gone downhill for them. And is Illinois a great Big Ten team? Of course not. But IU was losing 38-3 to Rutgers last year at home. Like you have to take little baby steps and positive steps. I think the Matthew Bedford injury is huge, though, because that O-line was definitely a question mark on Friday. And then you lose him with a torn ACL, and that's a big, big loss with that. But, I said this last week, John. I think all three programs, I know that you've hit on this, they all have really intriguing, interesting storylines. Purdue, I still think there is an opportunity to have a really special season. For Notre Dame, obviously the Marcus Freeman angle, you're developing a quarterback, you're trying to get back into the playoff, all of that. And then for IU, of course, it's just get back on somewhat stable footing after just a disastrous season last year.
I looked at this, and in closing, too, with IU. IU broke the chain. And that's for most of the teams here. IU football, IU basketball, Purdue football, Purdue basketball, the Colts and the Pacers. Fans of each in recent history have sat around and you wait for the crap to occur, something bad to happen. And you look at the second half offensively for IU Friday night, it went turnover, 4 punts, turnover, game-winning touchdown. You take it because you can't sit there and sit in judgment of wins if you're a fan of the IU football program. You take it and you move on to week 2. That's that.
Yep. Yeah. And, IU has not taken advantage of whatever opportunities have been there before with them. More often than not, they don't do that, particularly in Big Ten play. I mean, last year you had, home halftime leads against, I think, Cincinnati and I think maybe Michigan State. I don't know, somebody else. You just didn't do that. And, when that touchdown was overturned, or I don't know, maybe it was called incomplete on the field, Like, that was the break. I'm sitting there watching thinking, you have to take advantage. Both Indiana and Illinois, different parts of that game, gave each other so many chances. Someone needed to take it. And, Bazelak and lead that drive. And I thought both the wideouts, Matthews and Camper, I thought both of them showed some nice moments. So I worry about the O-line moving forward, but much, much needed for Tom Allen, who was certainly, treading a ton of water with how the program was looking heading into the opener.
Kev, appreciate you, man. Have a great time, you and Jake, tomorrow morning. Thanks, man.
Thanks. You bet, John.
Kevin Aquari, weekday mornings, 7 until 10 a.m. That's Kevin Bowen with us. Twin Peaks, we are on the northeast side in Castleton. Kevin with the Andy Moore Automotive Group hotline. His appearance, quick break, we'll come back. We're going to give away another spot in our fantasy football league. It's winner take all with Heaven Hill Distillery. We'll do that coming up next.
Hi guys, it's Andrew. Are you struggling with erectile dysfunction and sick of the pills? Well, today, Wednesday, September 7th, we're running an unprecedented one-day special you won't want to miss out on. Pine Grove Medical Clinic uses the most powerful form of wave therapy. This is a technology clinically shown to repair blood vessels and improve blood flow. Even Cambridge has studied our technology. If you're ready to transform your love life, grab your phone. Today is your day. Call us now and you'll qualify for the assessment and ultrasound totally free. Also, you'll get a gift that can produce powerful results in the bedroom in minutes. You're going to love that, guys. And today only, we're offering 6 tune-up treatments to our patients free. This is our most lucrative offer ever, worth $1,200. But call today, Wednesday, and qualify totally free. 317-552-1111. That's 317-552-1111. Guys, put a stop to your erectile dysfunction and get your love life back. Call Pine Grove Medical Clinic now to qualify. This offer ends today. 317-552-1111.
Hey, it's John for BullseyeEventGroup.com, the Colts VIP tailgate, presented by Hayes & Sons Restoration. We're going to get you in there, right? The Bullseye Event Center, all you can eat, all you can drink. DJ Skids has got your entertainment, so you get the passes for that. And you also have tickets to the game if you want to combo that up with BullseyeEventGroup.com. Also, if you want to be a part of the trip to Vegas coming up in November to see the Colts and the Raiders, the Colts VIP tailgate presented by Hayes & Sons Restoration, you can get there, a stay in Caesars and a great weekend. Log on now and check it out, BullseyeEventGroup.com.
BetMGM, the king of sportsbooks, unleashes the spirit of Las Vegas with BetMGM Rewards. Every time you make a wager at BetMGM, you can earn BetMGM Rewards points that you can redeem for online bonus credits like free bets and risk-free tokens. Planning a trip to Vegas? You can also convert your BetMGM points into MGM Rewards points that you can use towards dining, shows, and hotel rooms at over 20 MGM properties located on the Las Vegas Strip and nationwide. BetMGM Rewards is sports betting's premier loyalty program featuring exclusive offers, incredible experiences, and valuable perks when you wager on the BetMGM app. Sign up with BetMGM or log on today to get an even bigger piece of the action with BetMGM Rewards. Visit BetMGM.com for terms and conditions. Must be 21 years of age or older to wager. Indiana only. If you or someone you know has a gambling problem and wants help, call 1-800-9-WITH-IT.
Hey, it's JMV. I'll never forget the first time someone pointed out the bald spot on the back of my head. That's why I went to We Grow Hair Indy. Here's Darren Andrews to tell you more.
For over 20 years, we've been restoring hair for men and women with every type of hair loss and every ethnicity. No matter the reason for your hair loss, we're here to help. And our friend Rajiv Ram, two-time Olympian and tennis professional, can attest to this.
I wanted more hair, and they have the best technology there is for it. We Grow Hair Indy cared about me and did exactly what they said they would. The results have been amazing.
I had the multi-unit hair grafting procedure, and I loved that they could fill in my thinning hair on top of my head. People tell me all the time how great my hair looks, and yours can too. Call now for a free evaluation and grow your hair back. Call 888-724-5129, 888-724-5129, or WeGrowHairIndy.com, the gold standard in hair restoration.
Making your money go further is more important than ever. So Diamonds Direct's bringing back our most popular offer of the year. 5 years, zero interest financing on any purchase. Now for a limited time, you get the amazing value Diamonds Direct is known for, and you can spread your payments over 5 years. Zero down, zero interest. A $6,000 diamond ring is just $100 a month. Don't miss this extraordinary offer going on now. 5 years, zero interest financing on anything and everything at Diamonds Direct. Your love, our passion. Details at diamondsdirect.com on approved credit.
Hey, it's John here for Caesar Sportsbook. And first things first, your first bet was Caesar Sportsbook. The legend is on Caesar Sportsbook, up to $1,250. All you have to do is download the app and use the promo code RADIOFULL, RADIOFULL. Check out a game, for example, like the Colts and the Texans on Sunday. The Colts are 7-point favorites. Use Radio Full. Place your first bet. If you win, great. If you don't, get that stake back in a free bet. Caesars, simply put, is just different, right? They have Caesars rewards, and they can offer you stuff that others cannot at Caesar Sportsbook. Tickets, free stays, experiences, and more. Log on, Caesar Sportsbook. Use that promo code Radio Full today. Open to new users in Indiana who are 21 years or older. Qualifying bet loses. Bet amount returned is credit. Must use within 14 days. See Caesars.com/promos for full terms. If you or someone you know has a gambling problem and wants help, call 1-800-9-WITH-IT.
Hubler really does have it all. All of our pre-owned vehicles are Hubler Q certified, which include a 128-point vehicle inspection, a free Carfax vehicle history report, and 2 warranties. A 2-year, 100,000-mile powertrain warranty, and a 30-day, 1,000-mile comprehensive warranty. Visit any of our 13 locations today, or click drivehubler.com. Hubler has it all.
Guy Relford here. Time again for the Indy 1500 Gun and Knife Show this coming weekend at the State Fairgrounds, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. There's never been a more important time to exercise our rights as true Americans. It's the Indy 1500 Gun and Knife Show. See the best in sporting, hunting, and personal protection gear, plus great displays of Americana. Come see us this weekend at the Indy 1500 Gun and Knife Show, Friday 2 to 7, Saturday 9 to 6, and Sunday 9 to 4. It's the Indy 1500 Gun and Knife Show. See you there.
You've seen him on Netflix's Comedians of the World. Now see him live. Nick Swartzen.
I don't know the last time you've been swimming. It's hard. It's always way harder than I remember. I can swim maybe across a hot tub.
Nick Swartzen, Make Joke from Face Tour. This Saturday night, Egyptian Room in Old National Center. Tickets on sale now at livenation.com. Don't miss Nick Swartzen live.
The bidding wars are ending, and it's officially a buyer's market. So what are you waiting for? Ready to get pre-approved? Visit thehomeloanexpert.com.
Sundown Gardens has fresh fall annuals, including mums arriving weekly. Save the date for the fall open house, September 17th, 186th Street and Spring Mill Road, sundowngardens.com.
The Ride with JMV.
I got nowhere else to go!
93.5 and 107.5. The Fan.
Welcome back, Twin Peaks, Northeast Side. This is the official beginning of week number 1 of the NFL season here at Twin Peaks, and a great place to watch the start of the season coming up tomorrow night on all their TVs. Great food, ice-cold beer at 29 degrees, and all that you're looking for in a place to watch the start of the NFL season coming up here tomorrow night here at Twin Peaks. Now, tomorrow we start our Larceny Bourbon Locks and Luna Azul Tequila Shots. We're going to be up in Fishers at Parks Place Pub. We got our week 1 picks for you coming up tomorrow, and Friday with Bud Light. It's our Bud Light Blue Friday, and you're going to have a chance to win Chiefs-Colts tickets. Remember, the Colts don't open up at home until week 3. Chiefs-Colts tickets will give away at the Mucky Duck. Shout out to Todd Johnson. That's coming up on Friday, 65 and Southport Road down on the south side. So that, and then you got me at Bottle Works with Bill Brooks for the Colts pregame huddle coming up on Sunday morning at 10 a.m. The official Colts watch party is at Bottle Works. Got a lot coming up for you on the road with this show in the next 4 to 5 days. But tomorrow, Parks Place Pub, we are up in Fishers with our Larceny Bourbon Locks and a Luna Azul Tequila shots. Rick Venturi podcast, Kevin Bowen podcast, 1075thefan.com. It is our Harris Hoosier Park race of the day. We'll set the lineup, and somebody's going to win, including somebody is going to get into our fantasy football league coming up on the other side. 93.5 and 107.5 The Fan.
Listen to Dan Dockich this week for tickets to the Hoosier Hardwood Festival. Dan will broadcast live on September 9th at the Boone County Fairgrounds.
The Mower Shop in Fishers, featuring Spartan mowers. They have the perfect mower to fit any yard, any size, anytime. TheMowerShop.com and 317-849-9500.
Sometimes an injury or death happens due to someone else's mistake. Find justice with the injury attorneys at Parr Ritchie at 317-269-2509. PARRinjury.com.
As a master jeweler at Shane Company, I take pride in my work. Every time I set a diamond into an engagement ring, I think about what this ring means to the couple, how it symbolizes their connection and dreams for the future. At Shane Company, our rings have stronger prongs to secure the center stone. There's more gold in the structure of the rings, and the quality shows. Every day in the jeweler workshop is different because every couple has a unique way of personalizing their engagement ring. Instead of a round diamond for the center stone, they might choose a pear-shaped diamond or an oval-shaped blue sapphire. Not only do we set stones, we resize rings, polish them, we can easily add engravings, and we also fix heirloom jewelry. No 2 days in the workshop are ever alike. So whether you're buying your engagement ring at the store or online, just know that a master jeweler has added their personal touch, and they know how much your ring means to you.
Now you have a friend in the jewelry business. Shane Company and shaneco.com.
Hey, it's John for Forum Credit Union, helping you with unique and original ideas to save. I mean, everything costs more right now, and frankly, you just have to budget differently. So slide by a branch location of Forum Credit Union and let them teach you new, ingenious ways of how to save and budget better. That's Forum Credit Union, one of the branch locations. And for that info right now, that's forumcu.com.
America's leading internet provider just got even faster. Switch to Spectrum Internet, and you now get starting speeds of up to 300 megabits per second. Faster speeds for streaming, faster speeds for gaming, faster speeds for working or learning, all with 99.9% network reliability. So no matter what you do online, you can do it better, safer, and now even faster with Spectrum Internet. Visit Spectrum.com for details. Based on internet subscribers among top ISPs, speeds may vary. Restrictions apply.
All right, here it is, your Harris Hoosier Park race of the day every Wednesday and Thursday. Harris Hoosier Park Racing and Casino in Anderson. If you win 50-50 in VIP package, that's betting and dining at Harris Hoosier Park Racing and Casino in Anderson. Here's how it stands. Toby Conlon has No Curfew. MTS Wood with Zigzag Zoom. Craig has Hope, I'm an Icon. Larry Cowan with Check One. Justin has Marion's Hope. Michael with Babes Darla. And Q317 is rocking with Real Slick Chick. Dave closes it out here with How Do You Like It? There it is, your lineup, your Harris Hoosier Park race of the day. Good luck.
The following is presented by the Indiana Standard Bred Breed Development Program. From Harris Hoosier Park Racing and Casino, it's time for the Harness Race of the Day on 93.5 and 107.5. The Fan.
They are up. Good beginning for Check One. Babes Darla also away well. To the inside is No Curfew. Real Slick Chick moves up with How Do You Like It? Then at the inside is Zigzag Zoom with Marion's Hope 7th. 8th and last is Hope, I'm an Icon. Field moves on to the first turn, and Babes Darla is in front. Babes Darla passed the quarter in 27-1. Up on the outside comes Real Slick Chick, second, and then third is Check One. No Curfew is racing fourth. Behind that, Zigzag Zoom. Then How Do You Like It, sixth. 3 lengths behind that comes Marion's Hope, and another 2.5 to the tail ender, which is Hope, I'm an Icon. As they continue up the back stretch, Real Slick Chick on the outside takes the lead, but right away there's Check One to challenge, and Check One now takes over, passing the half in 56-2. 29-1, the time for the second quarter. Check One opens up the lead to 2.5 lengths. Real Slick Chick is second, Babes Darla third. Then No Curfew is next, fourth, followed by Zigzag Zoom. How Do You Like It is 6th. 7th is Marion's Hope. Hope I'm an Icon is the trailer. And Check One has opened up a 6-length lead now. Check One moving to the top of the stretch, well in front. 3 quarters, 1:24 and 2. 28 seconds the third quarter. Check One in front by 4. Babes Darla is trying to get closer. No Curfew, Zigzag Zoom. Then up on the outside comes How Do You Like It? Check One in front by 4 lengths. Babes Darla, then No Curfew with How Do You Like It trying to close in. It's Check One, and Trace Tetrick, and they are home free. Babes Darla will be in a photo for second with How Do You Like It? I believe Babes Darla might have held that position. 4th was Zigzag Zoom in 1:53 and 3.
Just minutes from Indy off I-69 and Anderson, Harrah's Hoosier Park has live standard-bred horse racing through December 10th, thanks in part to the Indiana Standard-Bred Breed Development Program. And keep listening for your chance to win with the Harrah's Hoosier Park Harness Race of the Day on 93.5 and 107.5. The Fan.
College football coverage this Saturday on The Fan is brought to you by Reinhardt Heating and Cooling, your trusted independent American Standard heating and air conditioning dealer in Danville.
It's a college football doubleheader featuring Iowa State at Iowa. Saturday at 11:30 on 93.5 and 107.5 The Fan.
The Ride with JMV.
Ahoy, Ploy.
93.5 and 107.5 The Fan.
Welcome back. We're at Twin Peaks in Castleton, the best place to start the NFL season, watching with you and your friends. And speaking of you and your friends, fantasy football-wise, we need somebody else involved in our fantasy football league. Our draft is tonight at 9 o'clock. Number 9 at 239-1070. You're going to be a part of that. 239-1070 right now. You can be a part of it. And shout out to Larry Cowan. He is your winner of today's Harrah's Hoosier Park Race of the Day, 50-50 in betting and dining from Harrah's Hoosier Park Racing and Casino in Anderson. He indeed took it home. Check One, the win, $6.40. The place, $3. The show was $2.40. Babes Darla placed at $2.40, showed at $2.20. And How Do You Like It showed at $3.60. Your exacta payout, $2 style, was $11.60. Your 50-cent trifecta payout was $8.65. That's your Harrah's Hoosier Park Race of the Day. Great to see everybody here today. Billy tomorrow, Mac tomorrow, Daryl tomorrow, Parks Place Pub tomorrow, our Larceny Bourbon Locks and Luna Azul tequila shots coming at you. Thanks to everybody here at Twin Peaks today, too. Your place to get started and watching the beginning of the NFL season. That's coming up tomorrow night here at Twin Peaks. Kyle, great job from you. Rick Venturi, a full 4 o'clock hour Colts forecast. 1075thefan.com via podcast. Kevin Bowen to Parks Place Pub tomorrow in Fishers beginning at 3. 93.5 and 107.5 The Fan. Have a great night.
Denny Smith